Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy May Visual, and I got somebody here. I wish I would have had him on sooner, because check this out. I did a giveaway during the May Visual channel, and I gave away this fucking tape. This fucking Pale Gaze project is fantastic. Uh, I gotta say the concept I think it's something really beautiful when you see a band release a project and then do a follow-up project and you see like a perfectly executed concept. That's what I admire so much about his project. With no further ado, of Pale Gaze and Mutilation Barbecue, I bring to you Peter Blanchett.
Oh yeah, thank you. What's up?
Yo.
Hello.
I was trying
That's
to find
me.
the button. I was like, fuck. Yeah, man. Dude, brother, how the fuck did you do it? How did you pull it off? Like I said, you
What, the
you
EP? So
you
wait, you did you give away the first one, the LP?
I gave away Butchered in a Cosmic Hell, the EP. I
Oh really? Hell yeah!
Yeah,
I didn't even.
it was
What the
just the
fuck?
other week. Yeah, I did a 24-hour stream and fucking I was
That's
like
sick.
whoever types I put a little hidden thing in the middle of the stream and it was like text in gaze to this number and fucking one dude got it.
Really?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, I wish I saw it. You still have that? It's on your page.
I think so. I posted the guy that got it yesterday. So I
Cool.
showed
All right,
him when he received it. Yeah, fucking
I'll look
uh,
into that.
yeah, dude. It was crazy,
Oh yeah,
man.
thank you.
How did you do it though? You came off that LP. First off, you came out the fucking gates with an LP with a project. Like how the fuck
Yeah,
did you manage that? That's a endeavor, bro.
yeah. So it's I mean, do you want like the long story or the
Dude,
short story?
I got as much time as you got. I did 5 hours with Corpse Pile, so fucking
Fuck yeah, dude. Corpse
yeah.
File. That band is sick. Shout out to Corpse Pile. Um, anyways, yeah. So I guess like early 2020, um, just before like the pandemic and everything, um, I had like nerve damage in my fingers still because I'm a cancer survivor. So I actually had blood cancer when I was 23, and I had like crazy chemo, and the chemo didn't do it. So I had to get a fucking stem cell transplant, which did the trick. But because I went through so much chemotherapy, my fingers literally like didn't work anymore. So yeah, sorry. It's a crazy story, kind of
Yeah,
sort of
no,
dropping it on
that's
you, but like fuck
yeah,
it, I
that's
feel like I
crazy.
it's like a huge piece of the whole thing, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
like I thought that I was never gonna play guitar literally ever again. I couldn't even button a shirt. Like I literally could not button a button-up shirt with the way my fingers were, and it's called peripheral neuropathy. My feet were numb too. At the time, I remember I went on vacation, um, and I like couldn't even walk like around like we were in fucking Florida, and like my legs just started like giving out. So did a lot of physical therapy, and then part of the physical therapy was I was like, you know, really hoping eventually I'd be able to play guitar. So I was like fucking around with my guitar, but even like tuning it hurt. Um, and I was like, fuck, I wish I like prior to literally losing my ability to play guitar, I had music recorded where I was like, shredding. Because I used to play metal in my free time and like, work on my chops and shit. But all the bands I played in were like punk bands and stuff. And I'd be playing like bass in some of them too and like singing. So it was fun. I love music. I don't care what I'm playing really. But I was like, damn, it would be cool to have like a record of the fact that I can play like actual solos. So then eventually I started being able to play again, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna keep working on this, and eventually got to the point where I felt like I was kind of about as good as I used to be. That must have been like I can't the time frame's kind of crazy, but that must have been like late 2020 or something. And this is years still after I had my treatments. Like that shit fucked me up. Um, and started running more often. My legs are better. And I was like, all right, like I can play guitar now. I'm gonna just like record some death metal and like stuff that I can solo over. Because also like there's mad death metal bands lately that have been like popping off within the past like 5-10 years, and stuff that I was always really into but never played in a band like that. So I was like, I'm just gonna go like the mortician route and just do like drum machine shit. So I got I got like the Easy Drummer thing on my computer. Got some like death metal patches with that, some pretty good ones actually. Tweaked it so that it sounded like a little less robotic. And then I started writing Cesspit of Mendacity, which is the LP for Pale Gaze. And I just kind of came up with the name because I was reading The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, and there's like a dude in that story who has this like really fucked up eye,
Yeah.
and I was gonna name the band Gaze of the Pale Eye. I was just like love that word gaze because I love shoegaze music.
Yeah.
It's just like something about that word is just so cool to me. But I shortened it to Pale Gaze. Had some dude, Droll Meadow. Shout out to Droll Meadow. He's this Irish artist who he did the LP art too, but he did my logo initially, which you have right there. Thank you. Um, and like shit like that just is inspiring, you know. Like I didn't even have like much songs written, but I was like, yo, like I have this song, this band name. Like, can you make this logo? And then I had the logo, and I was like, all right, I really want to like put a record out like this. And so I wrote that LP slowly but surely. It was gonna be like 3 songs, but I just like, you know, it was like still quarantine time. I had like nothing to do, you know. I work from home and spend so much time in this room, and I would just be like writing riffs and shit, and kind of like developing some kind of a sound too. The LP is more like when I listen to it now, it's almost more like it's got like a lot of like mellow death influence. Like I don't know if it's super audible if you can really tell, but it's like there's a lot of like at the gates and shit, and even like older stuff like sorcery. Um, and So yeah, I was just like fucking around with stuff that I could solo over, and I ended up making like I think it's 9 songs. By the time that was done, I sent the 9 songs over to Cody from Sanguisugabog. He also has Fix My Face Records, Cody Davidson. Um, and actually, I think I had like 7 songs when I sent it to him. I always annoy the fuck out of him, I feel like, because I'll send him like the songs and then I'll like record another one. I'll be like, yo, can you master this one so that it sounds kind of like the other ones too? Like, I'm sorry, like I just wrote this one. So, but he's super cool. I mixed the whole record and recorded it, and then I have him master it because I fucking hate my masters that I never get the low end right, but he does. So because he fucking mastered and mixed all that Sanguisugabog shit, like that EP and that full length, like he did all that shit, and he's just like, this shit sounds so good. So he's like my secret weapon on how I make the stuff sound heavier because I don't know, he just pulls it out. Um, and then he was like really cool too, and like really nice. And I think like Tortured Whole had maybe like just come out, and it was just cool to like have him do it. And he was like, "Yeah, there's some cool stuff on here, and like I like your solos and stuff and your vocals." And like it's silly, but like little compliments like that from people you respect, even if they're just being nice, you're just like, I don't know, it's very like affirming. So that was cool. And I was like, all right, well, I'll just like now I'm gonna send this around to some labels. So I got this label called Lingering Cadaverine Records to press the CDs. They only pressed, I think, like 50 of them. I think I had like half of them. I have one left now. Um, a bunch of people bought some and like never got them, um, which I won't get into too much here. I think they were just, I don't know what was going on with that shit. Like, whatever. I'm kind of salty about it. Uh, but it was cool to actually get the CD and like initially, I mean, they were really nice, and they fucking printed these CDs for me, and finally I had this physical recorded thing where like if my fingers ever fucking fall off, or if I don't know, you never know what the fucking happened. My fingers are still numb to this day, like they're still tingly. I'm used to it. Um, I was like, at least I have like this shit that like exists, and I'm like, like I'm not the best guitar player in the world, but like I can definitely shred, and here's some, you know here's some evidence of that, and I can listen to it. And it's maybe it's a little narcissistic, but I do like to listen to my own guitar solos and be like, oh, like I fucking ripped that solo, you know, like that's like one thing that I'm not cocky about much, but it makes me feel good to listen back to. I try not to though, because if I listen to my shit too much, you know, like the Spotify Wrapped shit, it's like it'll be like Pale Gaze #1 artist. I'm like, I can't fucking post this anywhere now. Like everyone's gonna think I'm a complete asshole. Like I was so obsessively listening to it last year because I wanted the fucking masters to sound crazy. Like I'll throw on like Undeath and then put my shit on and I'll be like, oh fuck, like it's slightly not as loud. Like, oh, like I suck. Fuck this. This was like before I even had Cody master it. So I was trying to master it myself. So I listened to Pale Gaze like so much. So my fucking Spotify Wrapped, it was like top 5 songs were like all my like demos and so you got to stay away from it on the streaming platforms for that purpose. But so yeah, so that's the LP, and then I, am I'm. This is a long story, but I feel like I
Keep
guess that's
going,
why I'm
dude.
here. Yeah.
Like I said, man, we
Yeah,
got
no,
10 hours.
I feel like weird talking about myself, but I mean this is an interview with me, so I think that's the point, right? So then I had like sort of like an Instagram presence as Pale Gaze. Still, I mean, I still don't have like a huge presence, but enough to where like like if I was like posting shit, like people would see it, and I was able to sell out of my CDs and stuff. And even though there weren't many of them, it still was cool to be like, okay, well, this many people got them. One dude ordered one from Australia, and like we locked the fuck down on shipping to Australia when the pandemic hit. Like you could not get anything to there. I literally lost so much money on sending that dude a CD. I paid like $50 of my own money. But I was like, this fucking dude like is in Australia, locked down, and he likes Pale Gaze. I'm gonna fucking pay for this dude to have his CD. So if you're watching, person from Australia, I don't know who you are. I remember your name, but like, just want you to know I did that for you, and I hope it made it to your place. And it was clean. Everything was all COVID tested. Um, so anyway, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. But then at that point, I joined Mutilation Barbecue. I mean, I can get into that too a little bit if you want.
Yeah, how
So,
did that fucking happen?
so they dropped that EP. Here, let me look at fucking. I'm so like, it's weird to think of like the time frame. So let me go on Spotify and see when I dropped Cesspit of Mendacity, the LP. This is the cool thing about the modern age too, is that I can just pull up my discography here while I'm talking to you. So I dropped this officially on my birthday. Okay, August 27th, 2021. Damn, I didn't know it was like that recent that I dropped that. That's kind of fucking crazy. That Mutilation Barbecue EP, I think, dropped the same month. I'm like pretty sure. So I'm not on that Mutilation, the first EP by Mutilation Barbecue. That dropped August 20th. So a week before I dropped mine. Weird. That's pretty weird. Um, and I had never met those dudes, but I listened to that EP because I think 200 Stab Wounds had posted it.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, 200 Stab Wounds share members with a band that used to, a thrash band called Subtype Zero. And in Subtype Zero, one of their drummers was Harrison, who he's the Mutilation Barbecue drummer. And then Nick, the guitar player, he was also in Subtype Zero. So they're all boys from like way back in the day. And they posted it and they're like, hey, listen to our friend's band. And I fucking love 200 Stab Wounds. So I was like, all right, well, if they're posting this, then like it's probably sick. And I put it on and I listened to it like 10 times. Like that EP was so sick. Like there's like a certain way that Nick writes riffs that's like very like his own and has certain influences in it that like I feel like I don't really hear from other people. And there was like a riff on one of the songs that I really liked. I can actually like vividly remember like pumping my gas like with this riff stuck in my head. And I was like, when I get home, like I like figured out how to play it like in my head. I was like, I know how to play that riff. I'm gonna go home and like record me playing that riff. So I went home. I was slightly wrong because that's hard to do, but I figured out the riff, and I just recorded it. And I was like, I posted it and tagged them. And Harrison, the drummer, he's always on Instagram. Like he mostly runs our Instagram. Um, and he messaged me through there. So I tagged him. He was like, "Yo, like that's sick. Like glad you like the music. That sucks that you live in Connecticut because we need a guitar player." Because at the time it was only Nick, the guitar player, Harrison, the drummer, and Chris, our vocalist. They didn't even have a bass player. Nick did the bass on that EP. And like they played like a gig, like literally it was just the three of them. Like there's this first Mutilation barbecue show where it was like just Nick, Harrison, and Chris, which they honestly sound pretty sick together. But you need a bass, and it's good to have an extra guitar. And so I was like, they had these shows coming up, and I was like, yeah, man, like that sucks that I live in Connecticut. Like, oh well, bummer. Like we'll stay in touch. And then like I feel like pretty quick after that, I was like, you know what, like I'm just gonna message this dude and tell him, hey, I'll play those shows with you, and then I'll just be committed, and I'll have like no choice, and I'll just have to make it work. Because I was like, again, having had cancer, um, life is short, and I was like, I haven't played live music in forever. I haven't played metal since like high school, because and not even good metal back. I mean, I won't even mention the bands I was in fucking high school because I'll never do an interview ever again.
Did you like the
But
you like the Devil Wears Prada and Bullet for My Valentine and like all that
dude,
kind of shit?
I'm debating what to say here.
Yep. Hey man, I was
Bro, my first show with this band in high school, we covered Tears Don't Fall. So
hell
yeah.
yeah. I do dude, that's so
Yeah,
lit.
we covered Tears Don't Fall, and we covered My Curse by Killswitch.
Hell yeah.
Um still for so long, like I don't learn songs usually. There's like a couple of songs by bands that I fucking love where I know how to play like a full song. I know like a few Slayer songs front to back. To this day, I know I could play you like 10 songs front to back. Two of them are those two just because we covered them. And then I think we covered Aerials too by System of a Down. If you fuck with System of a Down.
Yeah.
What a weird fucking set list, dude.
That's a
Oh my
mixed
god.
bag.
What the hell? What? I remember we would play with bands, they'd be like, yo, like, did you just cover Aerials by System of a Down and then Kill Switch Engage? And we're like, yeah. Like, we like those bands. I still like those bands. I'm not gonna front. I back that shit. Fuck it. But yeah, so Mutilation barbecue. All right. So yeah, it had been really long since I played metal. And metal is specifically really fucking cool to play because like it's way fucking harder to play. Like just straight up. Like I played in punk bands and shit where it's a totally different vibe, or like shoegaze stuff and things like that. Like where you can just like wail on chords, and it's sick because you can go fucking nuts playing like power chords, on like a punk song or like even like an emo song or something. I don't know if people watching this fuck with that stuff, but uh, but it's different because like it's like with metal, it's like so much more technical. And honestly, the Mutilation barbecue riffs, like when I first learned the songs, I was like, yo, these songs are fucking like way harder than I thought they were gonna be, because there's this whole meme of like caveman music. That's like the whole thing, which I think is sick. I'm a fucking caveman as fuck for sure. But those are not caveman riffs. Like I don't know. I swear by that. Nick is into like fucking deicide and shit. Uh, you know, there's some technical stuff there. There's some deicide riffs that will fuck you up too. Oh my god, those
Yeah.
fast like power chords and shit. And not that we're close to deicide in quality. I mean, I'm not saying that, but so that was cool too for my fingers because I was like, all right, well now I'm like committed to this band. I got to play these shows, and also this is just making me like even better guitar because the Mutilation Barbecue songs are harder than the Tailgate songs for sure. And it was kind of crazy too because so I live in Connecticut and they are in Ohio in Cleveland. That's like a 9-hour drive if you don't stop to piss, which I stop to piss like 25 times when I go there. Or I'll just like pull over in Pennsylvania and just go to sleep for fucking like 4 hours. I'm just like, I can't fucking do
If you gotta take a piss too, I have a piss screen, so just let me know.
Oh
if you
hell
wanna
yeah!
take a piss at any point.
Yeah, we might have to do. No, I'm fine. I'm pretty good at holding my piss now from driving to Ohio. It's like it's trained me in certain kind of ways. Like I had to drive to Massachusetts this past weekend, um, my brother's daughter was born, and it was like a 2.5 hour drive, and I was like, this is nothing. It was done in 2 seconds. I was like jamming the whole time, and so yeah, 9 hour drive. Um, so I can't practice with them, every day. Like
Yeah.
we have a group chat. They'll be like, "Yo, let's jam. Let's write. Listen." And I'm like, I'm fucking jealous that they're in Ohio and I'm here. But uh, and I mean, I plan on moving, but to be determined on that shit. Sorry, I was getting text from somebody. Um, Rude of me. I'll stop.
No, it's all good,
Uh,
dude.
so so to practice the songs because they only had the EPO, I actually demoed like Nick would send me videos of them playing like these unreleased songs. So one of them was Abortion Ambulance, which we just dropped on Maggot Stomp. Um, like that song, along with like five others. Um, they had no recordings of it, so they would just send me videos of them playing it, and then Nick would send me a video of him playing the guitar parts. And then so I actually demoed out those songs. I have like on my computer recorded the same way I record Pale Gaze. I have like unreleased like Mutilation Barbecue instrumental demos of like the LP that we're writing, and that's like what I practice to when I'm at home. Um, and they thought that was like the coolest shit too. They're like, "Yo, Peter's not even here, and he's fucking like practicing to like these demos." And and that was fun too. It's cool having this interface and being able to, so in a weird way, like making the tailgate shit kind of just like transferred well into me doing that. So I was like, I need a way to practice with these dudes because I'm pretty like anal about like things being tight. So not being able to practice like definitely stresses me out. But so that's how I do it. And sorry, do you hear my dog
Yeah,
barking?
it's all good though,
Oh.
man. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna shut my door.
yeah, fucking it's it's funny. I was talking about that type of shit with Hunter the other day, and like, well, it kind of in the same vein. I was talking about how like nowadays a lot of these metal bands that come together are like it's almost like hip hop, like the workflow for a lot of shit.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I remember like back in the day, I'd be like sending a beat to this guy, sending opens to people. All right, fill the rest of it, send it back. Let me get the stems. I'll mix it. Like, there are a lot of fucking projects working like that, especially like after COVID and shit too, because people are
Yeah,
just
dude.
like,
Yeah.
like, oh, I'll fucking work with this guy over here. Just email it.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. And like I also love hip hop, like old school, new school. That's like one of the main things that I listen to, and I would totally agree with that for sure. Um, then and that actually sort of relates because then on the new Pale Gaze EP, I had Mike from Warflords do one of the tracks, which I'll get to in a minute. But I feel like I was sort of in the middle of something about Mutilation Barbecue. Um, and I just want to plug that band because that's like my main band. So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, Pale Gaze is why I'm here. It's me, but you know, so also being in that band, like going to Cleveland, like there's mad metal bands in Cleveland, and like Ohio's been kind of popping off in that way, and it's fun to be there. I think it's more fun for me being there than it necessarily is for like my bandmates because they're from there. You know what I mean? So for them, it's like them being in Connecticut for me. They're like, I'll be like, dude, I fucking love being in Cleveland. And Chris will be like, bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, but I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like it's sick. Like when we played those first two shows, like we played with. It was originally just going to be the first show I played with them. It was just going to be Undeath headlining, but then it turned into the 200 Stab Wounds Slave to the Scalpel LP release. And I had never met those dudes, and I had like only barely known my band Mutilation Barbecue, who they're like my best friends now, which is crazy to think about. Like this was only like August of last year that I started talking to them, but that show was fucking sick, and I had not even really been to a concert in like mad long because of COVID, and like there was something really like just like I don't know life affirming. As corny as that sounds, to fucking drive like 10 hours to go play with these dudes who I like barely knew and play this sick fucking show and then see like 200 just like rip it the fuck apart and meet all these people and other bands played too. I think Dissected played there from Ohio, and Undeath played, who I love Undeath, and I'd never
Oh
seen
yeah.
Undeath live either. So just like a really fun experience. and I would not have been there and done all of that if I didn't do the pale gauge shit, because I mean, otherwise I would have just, I don't know, I would have just been like posting guitar videos on like my personal page, which I do, but my personal page is private, and um uh I don't know, I just like, it's not the same thing, you know, as like putting yourself out there. um so also, it's weird how this all strings together. And again, I feel like, I honestly feel like a goofball talking about myself so much, but like, whatever. Here we go. So part of playing in Mutilation Barbecue, so right behind me, you can see I have this like SG right here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it. I'm so fucked up on the camera. So that's like the guitar that like I've been playing in bands for like since I was like 17, probably. I bought that thing. It's a Gibson SG. It's like my main fucking, I love Gibson SGs. But I was like, you know, I'm gonna pull out, I have this old BC Rich. It's a bitch. I don't know if you're familiar with BC Rich models. The bitch, BICH, is this really weird like body shape. And Steve from 200 plays one actually a lot of the time. He has one that has like a Floyd on it. It's got like a maggot stomp sticker on it and shit. And when I got that guitar, I was, I think, 13, and my mom bought it for me for Christmas, and it was like $200. It was like nobody wanted that thing, and I wanted it because I fucking loved Slipknot and Nick Thompson from Slipknot. He used to play the BC Rich bitch. All my friends were like, you know, into classic rock and shit, and they used to clown on me so hard for liking like new metal and shit. Like that's just my life. I was always like made fun of for liking that stuff. I like classic rock too, but that was like, you know, my shit. I had like 10 Slipknot shirts in fucking middle school. And so but it's funny because now the BC Rich like thing, like mad death metal bands play BC Rich. So I was like, okay, well this guitar's like cool now again. Like I'm just gonna pull this thing out and play it. So that's what I played that Mutilation gig with. And I had my friend actually, my friend Dave, he's another guitar player that I grew up playing with. He's awesome, and he's really good with like the electronics. I had him put a Nazgul Seymour Duncan bridge pickup in it with me because he's way better at soldering than me. And uh, so got it to sound like a little bit better and just like cleaned it up. I hadn't played it in forever. Now it's like one of my main guitars that I fuck with. Um, Played those gigs with it, and then so I came home with this like fully operational, functional, better sounding BC Rich guitar. And I was like, you know, I'm gonna fucking, you know, I'm feeling like inspired with this like this fun like guitar, this old guitar of mine that's like souped up now and like people think it's cool. Like I actually had people ask me about the guitar now and be like, yo, like where'd you get that model? And I look it up on like fucking Craigslist and shit, and people sell it with the stock pickups for like $900. And I'm like, it's, I love that thing.
Yeah.
It's not worth that much money, but I'll take it if people want it. And mine has like a new pickup in it, so it's probably worth even more, you know, whatever people will pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm not selling it though.
It's
But I was like, I'm just gonna write some like Mortician ripoffs with my fucking BC Rich. So that's what I started doing for the Butchered into Cosmic Hell thing. It's called Butchered into Cosmic Hell, BICH, because that's the model of the guitar. B-I-C-H.
damn.
So
Whoa.
that's like that's probably more cerebral than it seems. I was trying to be like Kendrick Lamar or something. You know what I'm saying? Do you like Kendrick Lamar?
Yo, I fucked up with Kendrick Lamar, bro.
So you know how To Pimp a Butterfly, it was actually originally supposed to be called To Pimp a Caterpillar, and it's two PAC, so Tupac, To Pimp a Caterpillar, Tupac. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And I maybe subconsciously was like, I'm gonna make an acronym like so way so much less cool, like not even close to the same league, but like it's just like goofy. Mine, Butchered into Cosmic Hell. It's such a weird fucking name, but like that's why it's so weird because I had to just like, you know, make it work there. And then I had Mike from Warflers on a track, and I was like, yo, I just realized like my name is about Cosmic Hill, and it just sounds a lot like a Warflers thing. I was like, I promise, I'm not like trying to rip you off. I needed a C word, and Cosmic was there. So I just started like literally like the first track on that, or the second track now, Trail of Entrails. I literally wrote the guitar part of that song in like 2 minutes, like for the distorted shit. It's just like fucking power chords and Mortician ripoffs, and then I threw like guitar solos over it.
Yeah.
So I was like, it would be sick if Mortician had like guitar solos. And then I actually had a dude tell me recently that he thought that my shit sounded like Mortician if the original lead player from Megadeth, I can't remember his name. He's on Killing Is My Business, and I think the second record too. What's the second record called? Is that Peace Sells? Is that the second one?
I don't know. I don't like Megadeth.
Well, anyways, I like Megadeth, and he said that it sounded like Mortician, but with that dude soloing over it. And
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, that's sick. You know, because that's essentially what I was trying to do. I was like, I'm just gonna rip off Mortician and put solos over it. So that's that first track, and then I put like the weird clean intro over it because I just like got real spacey with it for a second. And then at that point, I was like, okay, what is this thing gonna be about? You know, like I don't know. The first EP is like not really about any, or the first LP is not really about anything. It's just like about like I don't know, being like I couldn't even tell you. It's got some fucked up tracks, but
Yeah,
the
I read
the
the
new one,
I
the
read the
new one I
lyrics.
wanted to, yeah, the new one I wanted it to be more like of a concept, you know,
Dude,
and
I don't
because like
know.
Mortician, what?
I don't know how you pulled it off. Like it tells a fucking story and like it ends
Yeah,
well.
so
Like
yeah, it's kind of fun. I wish I had it. I haven't gotten mine yet. I see mad people got theirs. I didn't get mine yet. I'm getting like a box of them. So they're like I think they're like sold out or there's like one or two left online. But I'll have a few that I'm probably gonna sell them at mutilation gigs, honestly. So I've had people come up to me and like ask for Pale Gaze stuff when I'm playing gigs with them. Um, just as like an extra thing for us to like make money for gas and shit. Um, but uh, yeah, so I was like, well, you know, I wanted it to be like horror movie ish because Mortician, you know, I love that fucking band and all their shit is like every song is like a different horror movie, you know, for Mortician. And it's like they're all different samples. But I was like, I'm gonna make the whole thing like it's like you're like listening to like a horror movie, you know. So I don't even know where I came up with the concept. I just like wanted it to be like a space creature guy and I wanted there to be a chainsaw that was involved. It's like not really. You say like, how'd you pull it off? It's like it's really a weird concept that is almost like it's you know there's nothing really to it.
it
But
sounds good. Yeah, like you have you ever
yeah.
seen or heard of the movie Night Beast?
Night Beast?
Yeah.
No,
You
I'll have to
gotta
look that up.
you gotta watch it. It's literally about this alien. Like it's one of those like 80s horror movies like that
Yeah,
got forgotten, but like this alien like lands and just starts fucking everyone up. Like all it does is go around killing
hell yeah.
everybody, and then it
All right,
finds
yeah,
this like laser gun thing, and you're like, I think they get this gun because they think it's gonna kill him, and fucking he gets it, and then he's just like zap 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 and starts fucking
yeah.
them all up. Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
hella
write
good.
this down because that was like that's like what that's crazy. Wow, I didn't even know about that. But someone and I were on like a similar wavelength. Me and whoever wrote that movie because Butchered in the Cosmic Hell is like the alien is like banished from. This is so fucking nerdy now. I'll actually talk about the concept has been banished from its home planet and then it crash lands on Earth and it crash lands on a dude who he's like a what's the word like a dude that lives off the land.
He's
Um,
like Nicolas Cage and Pig.
yes, precisely. And so he's got like mad shit at his disposal because he like cuts trees down and shit. But the fucking alien kills him, and then the alien is like, I just thought it would be interesting if like you know if you think about like extraterrestrial beings and you kind of like think about like what they might be like. You know, I feel like it's not too far fetched to think that they could be similar in some ways to humans. So I was like, you know, maybe he's like just kind of fucked up and like an asshole. So like even though he has like these cosmic powers, he's like, fuck it, like this chainsaw is sick. I'm just gonna kill people with this.
Yeah.
So that's like what he does. And then the story is him. The first track is he crashes and kills the dude. Then Trail of Entrails is these like teenagers. So it's think of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like come upon the site, and then the rest of it is them being butchered into cosmic hell, essentially. And you could say, if you needed to describe it in 4 words. Um, and then the last track I had Mike Colby from Wharf Lurch do with me. Um, and that was really cool because he does like a bunch of projects. And you were talking about the hip hop thing. Um, he's super into hip hop, and I feel like he kind of his workflow is like very similar to that too. Because like I hit him up, and he was like so down because he had just had me do the plasmodulated thing. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh,
He has
bro.
like this.
So
He
when
has
I
this solo project. Huh?
when I heard you, it was funny because I was listening to Plasmodulated, and then I hear
Oh
this
yeah.
crazy ass solo come out of nowhere, and I said,
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, Mike don't play like that." And I remember just driving it. I was just thinking like, who the fuck did that shit? That wasn't Mike. And then like I looked, it was me and my wife. We were cruising, and she was like, "No, no, maybe he pulled some shit out. It's a solo project." I'm like, "No, that ain't Mike." And I showed her. I was like, "It fucking was a feature. I fucking knew it."
Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, that was so fun. Like he had me do that one, and then Cody from Tango Sugar Bog, Fix My Face, like who mastered Butcher and Cosmic Hell. He did the one on like the fifth track, I think. And I had been on Wharf Lurch Wednesday because he does that every Wednesday. I think I've seen you on there too,
Oh,
actually.
dude, we made
Yeah.
the hidden history of that ass. Me and Mike on
You
fucking
did? You were
yeah.
the okay, so you're like legendary as fuck. So now I'm like extra honored here right now because I'm on the that's sick. Well, anyways, so I was on there like way long ago when Mutilation like first like put the EP out, and I was on there as like it's kind of funny. Like I still had never met Mutilation barbecue those dudes in person, so like I'm just like on there like talking shit with these kids who I'm like in a band with, but like I haven't even chilled with in real life. But so I met Mike that way, and then he asked me about Pale Gaze a little bit and like my like guitar style, and I think it just like he was like all right, and so he went and listened to it. He hit me up and he was like, "Yo, like I like your guitar playing. Like, could you do a solo on one of these tracks?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, like, that's so fucking sick. Like, send that to me." And he sent it to me, and it's really cool because a lot of like modern death metal is down tuned as fuck. Like our shit is down tuned, Pale Gaze is down tuned. But he did that shit specifically in E flat,
Yeah.
which is what Slayer playing. And so that was fun too because I made the solo like I don't know, just playing on a guitar that's tuned more close to standard. Or like I always have my SG is always tuned to E flat so I can play Slayer songs. The strings have like a different tension to it, and I just like pulled that solo out, and I thought it was kind of a weird solo at first. I was like, I don't know if he's gonna dig this one, but like I like it, so I sent it to him, and he was like so stoked on it, and that was sick. Like it continues to just be really fun to like hear people talk about like the stuff that I play, and I don't know, it's just a cool feeling. I like listening to that solo because it is kind of weird because the key of it was kind of weird too. Like you get a song you haven't heard before, you got to play over it, and he does a lot of really interesting like chromatic moves with chords and stuff. So the solo's really like harmonic, like minor kind of, but with some weird notes in there to fit with what he was playing. Um, and and yeah, that whole plasmodulator EP is sick too. It's like so I heard that when he was making that, he sent me like the synth almost finished shit before it was out, and I heard all the synth on it. I already knew that he was sick at synth because the Warford shit is like sick, and also he has the thing that he does with his other homie. I can't remember the name of his
Isthmus
friend,
of
but
Sticks.
yeah, that's the band. I can't remember his friend's name. But yeah, Isthmus of Sticks. And so I was like, okay, I bet he would be down because like now that I had done some shit with him, I was like, I want him to do something on here, but it would be cool to have him do synth, because that's like so specific to him, like that he could pull off and make it really cool. And so I was like, yo, would you do like synth on a track? He was like, yeah, just send me what you have. And I was like, oh, well, I don't have anything. So I'm gonna have to write something and then send it to you. And I thought it would be cool to have a song that was kind of like Like if you watched the movie, it would be like the credits music, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why there's not a whole lot of vocals in that last track because it's supposed to just be like some shit that would like the credits would roll and you know you would just like I don't know. It sounds so nerdy talking about it, but that's the concept. And also that song, if you give a fuck about like music theory, I wrote the whole thing in 5/4, so it's 5 beats per measure, which is weird. And the reason I did that is because there's a lot of like horror music where they do 5/4. Like the most famous one is the theme song for Halloween is in
Yeah.
5/4. So if you were to actually count it, it's 5 beats per measure, and it's like it's a time signature that feels really natural, like when it's pulled off well, and like when the riff is like flowing, you can kind of like jive with it. Another song that's in 5/4. I don't know if you do like Deftones or do you hate Deftones? Because motherfuckers, I've been having to defend Deftones for mad long now.
I
Everyone clowns
just
on me.
Yo, I had Hunter Young on yesterday. The interview isn't out yet, but I had Hunter Young on, and tell me I'm an ignorant motherfucker, dude. I didn't even know Chino was the lead vocalist in Deftones. Like he's the vocalist, and his name is Knockoff Chino. And I said to him like, cause he's in a band Mood Ring, you know, and
Yeah.
and I like Mood Ring, but I don't like Deftones. And I was like, dude, I was like, I fucking hate Deftones, but your band sounds like what Deftones should sound like. And he looked
Oh
at
my
me,
god,
dude.
dude.
He looked at me and was like, I'm not the one, dude. I have a
Yo,
fucking.
get Hunter in here. I'm gonna fucking bond with him.
You got me.
Uh,
I
Dude,
was like,
I was on Wharf Lurch and same shit. Fucking Dylan, do you know Cool Shirts
he's
42069?
he he's coming on next Monday. So,
Hell yeah. All right. So Dylan's my boy. That dude's fucking sick. He's
I love
awesome.
him.
However, he talks mad shit about Deftones. I think his bio right now says how much Deftones suck. And he was like, yo, everyone go around and like name a band that you just hate. And I was like, this is just to make me mad. I couldn't even come up with anything because I love everything. My honest answer, I was like, dude, like I just like everything. I'm not full of negativity like you guys, so I can't even think of anything. And they were like, dude, fuck you. And Dylan was like, yo, Deftones, fuck that band. Well, anyways, to explain why I brought that up, there's a song by Deftones off of Around the Fur called Rickets, and it's in 5/4. And if you count it, you're like, oh, that's 5/4. But like you don't necessarily notice it because they fucking pull it off so hard, it just grooves like so good. And so it grooves, but like it has like tension to it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of songs too in horror movie soundtracks where if you count it, it's in like 7. You know, they do this irregular time signatures. So I'm like talking like my shit is so fancy and cool. It's like whatever.
No,
It's like a fucking the
it's made.
horror.
You gotta
Yeah.
put
So
it
I
out
made the
there.
whole thing in 5/4
Yeah.
and sent it to Mike. And I was like, yo, like I made it in 5/4 like John Carpenter. Come to find out that like his friend is the one who's more into John Carpenter, and he's like, yeah, like, that's cool, man. Like he's not you. I thought I was gonna like impress him. I was like, yeah, I made it in 5/4, but he like thought it was sick. So he was excited to do like the synth in 5/4, like because that's a weird thing to fuck with too. Um, and then actually for the part where he comes in, he does like guest vocals. I wanted it to be like more of like a groove, but I had already written the whole thing in 5/4, so then I just chopped that part up. It's like 6/4 for 3 measures, and then there's a bar of 2, and then it goes back into 5/4. So if you add that up, it's 20 beats, which is you could also count it in 5. Um, and um, and I'm really into shit like that because my dad is a jazz musician. My dad went to Berkeley
Oh
and
shit.
studied jazz his whole life, and he's a drummer. So he's always had me on to like weird grooves and shit. Like there's some 5/4 riffs on the Pale Gaze songs. There's on Butchered into Cosmic Hell. I did a slam riff like suffocation style, but it's in 5/4, which is in I think that's in Chain Blade Beast. It's fucking weird. And I soloed over it too. Soloing in 5/4 is weird, but I was into it. I don't know if anyone will pick up on that or think it's cool, but I was into it. Um, so yeah, I put it together and I had Mike do the synth on it. Without the synth, it sounded so much like lamer, like not cool. Like he sent me back the synth, it was a completely different song. Like this shit sounds so fucking cool now. And I love that too. Like I said, when I write my own stuff, like making your own music in your room, just like I'm so like it's so self-centering and kind of like a it can be almost like claustrophobic maybe is the word. Like I just get kind of like tired of myself. I'm like, oh, like this is so stale. Like
Yeah.
But then like having other people come in and put their shit in it, it's like it was like hell yeah, it's like my favorite song in the whole thing now. And then I had him do the vocals too, and mixed it like it mixed in really well, and then I was just like 10 times as stoked to put the shit out because um, I don't know, I really like that track, and it's fun like experimenting, uh, and he's really fucking good at experimenting with shit for sure. Um, and then I don't even think I had like a tape release at that point. Like I didn't know who the fuck was gonna put it out. I had sent like demos to some people, um, and like I
I
think
thought
people were like, "Huh?
I thought from just looking at it and how it was packaged, I literally thought like Stump Grinder had something to do with the fucking making of that project, with how perfectly marketed
Yeah."
it was
Well,
done.
so once I like hooked up with like once I messaged him and asked him, he was like really enthusiastic about it. He was like I had a few other labels who were like into it, but they weren't like committing to it because they had bigger shit to do. You know, what I mean, it is kind of hard getting people to agree unless you're like so, like Putrid Pile could probably get anyone to press his shit because he's been around for fucking forever and his shit's legendary. But like with mine, you know, doing solo stuff and people don't really, have like a band to tour with behind it and stuff. Like labels will be a little bit more hard pressed to fuck with it, like and actually put money into it. But Mike at Sunk he was super down, and it also just like worked out like aesthetically because his whole shit is like he's in the woods with chainsaws and stuff, and
Yeah.
I was like that's sick, and we just started like bouncing ideas off of each other, and yeah, he goes like crazy when he would post about it, and he'd like have his like chainsaw like this, and like he's like how did I like this worked out so well? He was like super into it too, and and I had Spinal Chamber do the art, so shout out to Spinal Chamber also.
Yeah.
Um, he's like my favorite, like literally, he's my favorite artist that does death metal shit. Actually, also shout out to Gordon Brace. I have their shirt on, and I bought this one because Gordon Brace are homies, but also because Spinal Chamber did the art for this. Um, and when he sent that shit over with like the dude with the chainsaw, and it's like super like, I was like, yo, like you fucking destroyed this project. Like this makes this. It made me so much more excited to get it out. And then we were thinking about the tape layout. And at first, like Mike had sent me one where it was like kind of cropped because on a tape it's like a rectangle, and so it was like the full body, you know.
Yep.
Um, and but I was like, no, we need like the full art on there. So is there like a lag?
No. Why you liking?
No, I thought. I mean, maybe I've been lagging. I just didn't notice. I thought like something got fucked up. Oh yeah, there it is, right there. Hell yeah. Yeah. So we went like more old school with like the layout because I wanted the full art to be on it. I was like, that whole shit has to be on there because it just looks so sick, and I wanted to be able to like have like the tape and actually look at it. So then he was like, he had wanted to do like kind of an old school tape layout for a minute where you've got like the square. Some bands have done that, like Gate Creeper, who I'm sure you know. They did like a super old school tape layout a while ago for like
Oh
their
man,
most
Gate
recent
Creeper.
record.
They're like Taylor Swift, man.
Oh yeah, totally, dude. Well,
Right?
they word on the street, yeah. But
What
you
the
know what?
fuck?
Taylor Swift is sick.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
So hell yeah. I'm gonna get Taylor Swift to do the next outro track on my record. It's
Hey
gonna be
man.
called
Huh.
it's gonna be called Butchered into Cosmic Hell Taylor's version.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna make an edit of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick. Um, but yeah, so he killed it with the tape layout. Like Mike did
Yeah,
that.
dude, that shit. Like seriously, um, fucking crazy, man. Like really, like, cause my boy Logan for Dirt Riffs. I don't know if you know him. He was like,
Yeah, he follows me. I don't think I've ever met him, but
yeah,
I know the page.
he does interviews and shit too. Like he's actually my co-host on my other show I do, and he was like, I was like, what are some upcoming releases that are gonna be fucking worth giving out when we do the big stream? And he was like, this new Pale Gaze. and
Hell yeah.
it wasn't even on my radar at that time. Like I was aware, like I've seen your name, I've seen you on the internet, and I took one fucking look at the tape, and I was like, holy shit, this is
Yeah, dude,
fucking
that's like also for sure intended too, because like I was really into the art on the LP, but it's a different vibe. It was more like it was just different. And with this one, I wanted it to be like super like some shit that like if I saw it, I'd buy it without even listening to it. Because I honestly have bought a lot of metal records in my life, like on vinyl, just because the like 20 bucks spin will drop some shit, and I'll be like, I don't know what that sounds like, but I bet it's sick because the art is sick, and I'm gonna want the first variant, so I just buy it, you know. So I wanted it to be like you see the fucking tape, yeah, and then fucking dude, oh my god, that chainsaw shit, yo. So I had Spinal Chamber do that like last minute because I wanted to put that on a shirt, but that never happened. So hopefully we can get some kind of like demand going for that because I'd like to do. I mean, I'll just say who the fuck. I'd like to do long sleeves where like that chainsaw just goes down like the fucking sleeve.
bruh. Give
And
me
and
the
I had him too. I was like, yo, like I was like, I'm gonna put this on a shirt. And I love your fucking art so much. I want your name. Like, can you please sign the chainsaw somewhere? I thought he was gonna like engrave it on there. It has the if you look at the blood on it, it spells chamber.
oh
That's his
shit.
name. Yeah. So like that has to get used somewhere, like more. Like it just has to. Like it's so sick. And I had him. I was like, I sent him the chainsaw from fucking Texas Chainsaw 3. It's
Yeah.
like on the cover of that movie. And I was like, yo, do like your own version of this and put your name on it somehow. And that's what he sent me. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, we have to put this on a shirt, but it just didn't happen. So
I think
TBD on that.
I don't know, man. This project is probably like a really timeless fucking project. I would expect a second batch of tapes. You still have plenty of time to fucking work out more merchandising. I'm
Oh yeah,
shocked there's no fucking flag. Like where's my fucking that
dude.
artwork?
Yo, yeah, dude. That's you know what I hadn't even thought about that. That's so true. I have the last flag from the Cesspit ones because dude in Asia Gutless,
Yeah.
shout out Gutless Records. He did like this like limited press of Cesspit, and they did like this alternate art, and he did these banner flags, and I have the last one, um, which I have like a few. There's like 2 or 3 dudes that really like tailgates who will be like, yo, you got to give me that flag. Like I want that. Like they're like super limited. Yeah, we should definitely do flags of that art because that shit. Like I just want it like on my wall, like for real. Like it's so fucked up and cool.
It's
And
like iconic, man. The whole tape layout
yeah,
too, the
that's
red
yeah,
and
I know.
black, like
It was like as soon as he sent it to me, I was like, this has to be so sick to match the art because like this is so cool. And yeah, I wanted to put that on a shirt too, so it would be like that would be on the shirt as well. Just like spinal chamber art, just like dripped out because I'm obsessed with that dude. Um, I have art of his too that I bought so I could use it for like other shit. So I was thinking about doing like a compilation CD that has like this and the LP on it. I might do that too. Because those people who like literally like 10 people like ordered my original LP on CD and just like never got it. Like not from me, all the like from the label directly. And so I'd like to like get a CD out with that on it too and just like send it to those people like literally for free because I just feel bad that they didn't get it. Um, and I have like Spinal Chamber art just like catalog, like because I just like his stuff so much. Um, and yeah, that dude's sick. And now he's like he's been doing art for other people too, like Sanger Sugabog. He did like mad shirts for them. Um, oh shit, I just got a Bandcamp notification. Someone has started following Bill Gates. Oh yeah. Look at that. They know I'm on here.
yep.
Um, so yeah, that's like I don't know. I just like talked for an hour, but
Dude, that
that's everything up until now. And then in the meantime, also we did the fucking mutilation barbecue shit, which we put that single out with the cover, and that's on Maggot Stomp.
how
So
did
that's sick as fuck too.
how did that feel? Because it's like, Maggot Stomp picked up Mutilation Barbecue, and it seemed like it was something that kind of just like happened. Like I didn't. I remember you guys were talking about it. I was watching that Warflurch Wednesday. Um, how did it fucking feel though to get on Maggot Stomp? That's a really sought after label by a lot of bands that are like, you know, doing shit. Like I know Bonginator, they're on Barbaric Brutality now,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is fucking badass label. Um, and I remember when I talked to him though, he was like, "Yeah, my first look was Maggot Stomp. I hella thought I was gonna get on there, and then he ended up getting picked up by Mike over at Barbaric, and I think it's a perfect fit for the fucking
It
project
definitely,
too."
yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, that project on Barbaric is perfect for sure. Mike is the shit over there at Barbaric. I talk to him kind of frequently. Actually, we'll just like message on Instagram and like just like say dumb shit to each other. But like,
I just sent him
for
some crazy shit earlier today. I don't know if I'm
yeah,
gonna have to
like
cut this
he's
out.
always down to like just like bullshit about like random. He's just like such a cool like straight up dude. Um,
I may have to
and
cut this part out. But do you think a snuffed on sight body box split is gonna be happening?
I hope it does
That was a
because
shot in the dark, but it only makes sense to me.
dude, I literally fucking love both of those bands so hard. Stuff on Sight is the shit. Fucking Body Box is the shit. Through the Bonfire, that shit, I've listened to it 1,000 times. Microwave Weed is also perfect. Um, but I've listened to it less, literally only because it's existed for less time than the Bonfire. So yeah, fucking love both of those bands. That would be sick. That's some shit that I lift to for real. I'll throw those bands on.
Yeah, you can't lift to
Um,
fluids though, right? Like you can't.
dude,
Like
fluids will fuck me up.
yeah,
Fluids will have like a sample of a dude actually killing himself, and I'm just like,
you like drop some shit.
Jesus. I'm like, bro. And then like the electronic shit will come in. And I'm like, I gotta just throw on Body Box, you know, just some good old
Yeah,
fashioned like I don't know what you would even describe them as, but that would be sick. And yeah, both those bands on Barbaric Brutality, it is certainly barbaric and brutal for both of those bands. Like just to exist. So,
yeah.
um,
It only makes
hell yeah,
sense to me. It only makes sense. That's why I was like,
dude.
okay, because Hunter Young, he slipped up a tiny bit when I talked to him the other day. By the time people see this, it's already gonna be out there. But he said something about snuffed on sight, and then he was like, "Wait, I've already said too much. That's it." And I was like, "Okay, ding, ding, ding. I already know what the fuck's going on."
Yeah,
Fucking, I'm guessing. And then I messaged that to Mike. He hasn't seen my message yet. I'm gonna check and see if Mike saw it yet. If it just says seen. I said, yo, nobody told me anything about this shit. I'm just shooting in the dark, bro. I'm literally just shooting in the dark. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here. Is there a snuffed and body box split coming? Seen 2 hours ago. I
dude,
don't know.
that would
He's
be
probably
that
busy
would be
though.
sick. That would be sick.
It-
I mean, honestly, um, as sick as that would be, I would rather just have a full length from both of those bands. Just like just like fucking 12 songs from each of those bands. Maybe they do a split LP or like write an LP together. I hope they're watching this when this comes out.
I know.
This is
I
a good
hope Mike
idea.
isn't. Because I'm just guessing. You know, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I was like,
I
I
mean,
don't know
other
too.
people have other people have probably thought about it.
Yeah, it makes too much fucking sense to me. Like that is just
Dude,
something
that
like
yeah,
instant
that body
buy,
box. Wait, say again.
instant
Sorry.
buy, instant purchase.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure, dude. That sample on the body box song from Gummo. I don't know if you've ever seen Gummo, but like,
So you've seen Gummo, right? You've seen it,
yeah, of course.
dude. Yes, Harmony Korine is fucking brilliant, or was brilliant. He's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
he's
He's a weird dude.
completely insane, but that's like how it goes. I mean, to make Gummo, I think he made. Did he make Kids also? I think he
Yeah,
made
he
Kids.
did Gummo, Kids, and have you ever seen Trash Humpers?
I've seen clips of Trash Humpers. No, I haven't seen the full thing. I've seen other shit though. I've seen Ken Park. I think he did.
I haven't seen that one. I
I
know
think
he
he. I
did.
think he also did What's Up Rockers. You ever seen that one?
That was done by Larry David, director
Oh yeah, okay. I get
from
them. I
Kids.
get them. I get them confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That movie, that's so funny you bring up What's Up Rockers because that movie changed my fucking life, dude. What?
Dude, that movie was so weird, dude. I was like, I mean, that shit in general. I watched Gummo when I was like 12, so I
Oh,
mean, that's
man.
why I'm so fucked up. But you just like had to see it, because I would see it like at the movie store to rent and that weird ass cover, you know. And but yeah, like What's Up Rockers was such a weird movie, but so cool too. Like the dudes in that movie, you just thought, I don't know. I remember watching it and being like so infatuated with how cool I thought they were. They're just
Yeah.
like they're just like skateboarding around, listening to like crazy like punk music I'd never heard of before, you know. And then it takes a weird turn at the end. They end up at that person's party, and I'm not even going to describe everything that happens because you got to just see it. But that
Yeah.
was weird how it ended.
It was
Um,
it was kind of like they had to add some drama in to make it like a movie, like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like kind of
because
like
like, how did we get? I was like, how did we get here? Like, I was totally cool with them just like being mad at cops, and like, but now we're here at this party. That was sick too, though, because like in the movie, they're from like the slums, and then they go fuck with those like girls from like the valley or whatever. Like
yeah.
the vibe of that is really cool. Like, that's really interesting. Actually, speaking of Kendrick Lamar, that reminds me of fucking. I'm huge into Kendrick Lamar. This is related, I promise. But if you ever listen to Good Kid, Mad City, that record, there's a song on there called "The Art of Peer Pressure," and they talk about like going into the valley
Yeah.
and being like not from there. It's kind of like when I listen to that song, it reminds me of What's Up Rockers because of that like plot device.
Yeah, dude. I never got like I used to laugh at kids with skinny jeans in high school. I'd wear like fucking
Oh,
baggy
dude.
ass jeans, and then I remember like I saw that movie, and I was like, I'm buying a skateboard, and I'm getting skinny jeans, and I'm gonna
There's
fucking
like, yeah,
make hardcore punk music. Like this is what I want to do.
yeah. It was
Like
like you like understood, you know, you got it.
it all
You're like,
clicked, dude.
oh, like it's cool. It's cool to do that shit, dude. You would have made fun of me so hard in high school. Oh my god, I had fucking zebra print skinny jeans that I
Oh,
would
that's
wear.
sick. You know, dude, I not even want to
Zebra
talk
prints.
though. I went on to wearing like the white skinny jeans, bro. Like I literally like
Hell yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like
Well, so mine were white. Yeah,
if I had
mine
zebra
were
print,
white,
yeah.
but they also had black zebra stripes on them.
Dude,
So,
I would have rocked that shit if like
dude,
at
I used
that
to wear
point.
that. That was like my claim to fame in high school because I wore those things. I had long ass hair too. I had hair down to like here. You ever seen Nick from Mutilation Barbecue? That kid looks like me when I was his age. He's fucking. He literally, dude. It's weird. It's weird. He's like. I think he just turned 20. I'm
Yeah.
28, so I'm old as fuck compared to him.
Oh, we're the
And
same age. That's
when I
funny.
look at him, oh, you're 28. When I look at him, I'm like, yo, I'm like you from the future or something. I don't know what happened here, but like I used to look just like him. He has red hair though, so that's a little different. Um, but yeah, man, that was sort of a tangent. I don't know what just happened. Gummo. Oh, the Gummo sample. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I heard that, he's like the thing. It's that clip where they're talking about the cops being mad because they get like more pussy than the cops do or whatever, and then just fucking like, oh, it just goes in. That's a sick. Shout out to Body Box. That man is fucking sick, dude. Um,
Yeah,
seriously,
dude. Their themes are just so cool. They like it's funny like
dude. Yeah, like my dad. Um, I the trailer shit. I was gonna say my dad used to live in a trailer, so I don't know. I like not that that's like a who gives a shit where your dad lived, but the double wide stomp imagery, like I don't
yeah,
know, something about it's just fucking cool. Like it's just cool as fuck. Like they just like
it makes
I don't know.
sense. You're like, look at this. Like I showed my boy what was it? He was talking about and I bring this up way too much. He's totally gonna see this. I know he watches this shit now. I talked about it with Hunter too, just yesterday. But so fucking I showed him like Gulch, and he was like, "Oh yeah, those dudes aren't genuine." Whoop de whoop. And I'm like, "No, like I think they're cool. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's not. It's like it doesn't matter if you're genuine or not. If the music's dope." And you're making cool shit, and people feel it. Like that's cool. That's all good. But he's like, nah. He's like, ever since Tyler the Creator put on Trash Talk, there's been all these weird like hardcore bands that have been coming out where they're like not genuine. And I was like, oh, you want to say that about hardcore bands? Well, check this out. And I showed him Body Box, and I was like, you get a bunch of Florida men and put them in a band, and this is what you get. Like, and he was like, well, yo, they're the real deal. And then I pulled the 180 on him, and I was like, well, see this dude on the guitar? Look at his other band. And I pulled out Mood Ring, and he was like hella confused for a second. And it's like, yeah, dude, like it's the Florida Men fucking band. Like, it's so lit.
Yeah, Mood Ring is sick too. I know you don't like Deftones, but
I like Mood Ring though. You know why I don't like Deftones, and here's the reason. And I have a valid reason. The mixing, cool. The sound, musically cool. You know, is it well put together? Yes. But my problem is it's like edging. Like, when you listen to the entire album, to me it's like fucking edging with no payoff. You're listening to some shit, waiting for it to happen. I feel like every song is just like it's missing something, and it's not.
Like,
and
you want it to be heavier.
No, it's heavy. Like, it's heavy, but like I'm missing something on the vocals, or it sounds too like gazy for me, and I don't want that out of music that's heavy, because I need some sort of, like, even Hunter Young, like when he sings on Mood Ring, he like hits certain notes and like does shit where you're like, that's satisfying. I feel that. I feel what's going on. And fucking Seven told me like a whole bunch of fucking Deftones to listen to, and I took an 8-hour ride over to Vegas from California, and I fucking went down the list of all the shit he was telling me to listen to, and I started falling asleep, bro. I was like, I can't listen to this shit.
Yeah, dude, I was about to throw so many songs at you, and he probably already threw the same one at you. If you listen to, like, I mean, honestly, if you just listen to the first 2 records, Adrenaline and Around the Fur, like,
which one's the one with the chick on the cover?
That's Around the Fur.
Yeah, that's the one I did.
That is my favorite Deftones record, period. Fucking incredible album. It's, you know what, it's fine that you don't like him. You don't piss me off like Dylan does, where he fucking like actually makes fun of me.
Well, I actually really like Mudvayne, so that's when he has that. He says
Deftones
and Mudvayne sucks.
Dude, hold on. Mudvayne was my first concert.
Oh, dude, I never even saw them fucking live.
Dude, I saw Mudvayne. It was 10 years. Do you remember that band? 10 years.
Oh yeah, wait, they have that song.
Wasteland.
Take my answer.
That's Wasteland.
Yeah.
I saw them. It was them, and then Mudvayne after them, and Lost and Found had just come out, and then it was Korn, and it was the See You on the Other Side tour. That was that tour.
Fuck,
that was my first concert.
Lit. Yeah, man.
I was like 12, and then when I went back to school the next day, I had a hearing test, and I failed it. And you used to you do those hearing tests. They're like scared at how bad I did. And I was like, they're like, all right, Peter, just like clap when you hear the beep. And I was like, yeah, okay. I just saw Mudvayne last night, and I didn't hear any beeps. I was like waiting for these beeps, and I was just I was like, there's no beeps here. Like, I'm just clapping because I think there's probably beeps happening. I can't even hear them. They were just like visually, they were like clearly disturbed at how bad my hearing was. That's such terrible timing on that.
That's a good lineup though to go deaf from. Like, I remember, I went to what the fuck were they called? Oh god, they did a theme song. This band disappeared, I think, just as fast as they came. They did a theme song for some wrestler, like fuck, they sing that song, I hear voices in my head, they talk to me, they understand. Rev Theory.
Oh yeah, Red Theory. Okay, yes.
Dude, this dude that I knew, his sister was well, I'm not even gonna, that's mean if I do it like that, but his sister was a girlfriend of the guy from Rev Theory, so they came to town, and he was like, you know, they got us to the front of the stage. I feel like we just walked up to the front of the stage, and fucking, I remember like the whole time standing like a foot away from like all their fucking speakers. And this is an outdoor festival in Santa Clara, or Mountain View. And I remember standing there like right next to their speaker, and the music was fucking god awful. Like, I did not like this band. And I remember we went it was Crew Fest. So Motley Crue was playing one of
Oh
their fucking
shit.
reunions and shit. And I remember I was up there and I was like, man, fuck this. Like, this sucks. And we walked away from like that. We stayed there for the whole set because his sister's losing her shit. She kicked it with dude up in the tour bus, and we waited in the car until like fucking 11 or 12, even though the concert ended at like 9. And that she just came out and was like, I'm so sorry. And we're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, but anyways, so we saw them, and then like I couldn't hear shit for the next 2 days, and I was like, did I really just go deaf listening to fucking Rev Theory? Like,
Yeah, it sounds like you did. Probably
yeah,
like
dude,
got especially in there because it was so
it sucked.
atrocious.
We were right in front of them, dude. Like, everybody sounded like I was talking through, like they were talking through cardboard fucking things or
Oh
something to
yeah,
me.
it's kind of scary actually when you get that fucked on your hearing. You're like, oh my god, like I'm
Yeah.
never gonna hear again.
I got tinnitus for sure now. Like, just all the in silent rooms, I hear ringing, you know.
Yeah, I have friends. I'm surprised. I'm amazed. I don't. I if I have it, I don't notice it.
Yeah, you got to
But
listen
I'm
for it.
yeah, I would be surprised. I have friends that have it for sure. Because nowadays, like anytime I play, like if I play Mutilation barbecue gigs, I always have the fucking earplugs in. Always at practice, I have earplugs in. It makes it a pain in the ass, like trying to talk to people at shows and stuff. But I just have to do it. Like it's just like I don't want to go actually deaf, and like I spent too long. Like I remember, like my old band in like college, we got this dude to come play with us, and he was a friend too, but he was like a new member, and his ears literally he woke up with his ears bleeding the day after our practice.
Fuck
We were
that.
like, and we were like, well, our ears are fine. That's probably not good. like Zach's ears literally bled overnight, but mine feel fine. Weird. So my ears are fucked for sure. But
Yeah.
even since Mudvayne and Corn on the See You Other Side, I See You on the Other Side tour. Uh,
Yeah, dude.
it's funny
Chad
too. I
Gray.
remember like, huh?
You what are you saying?
I remember like when that it felt like I was seeing Corn at like such a late stage. To See You on the Other Side, that's like Twisted Transistor.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, man, I wish I was born earlier. I could have gone with my dad to see Corn on like the self-titled like tour. But now like they've been around for so long and I'm older. So when I tell people I was at that tour, they like geek out on it.
Your dad was into that? Your dad's into heavy music and shit?
Yeah, my dad's into everything. My dad, that's like the one that's like our like father son connection is that like
That's
I'm
cool.
like out of his three kids, I'm the one that like decided to like do the music thing, and so we've always bonded over that. So when I was a little kid, I used to hate listening to jazz. We would just like have jazz on all the time. Now I love it. I'm like appreciative of it. Um, and but he was always down like to listen to stuff if I had a CD that I really liked or whatever. Like I remember buying. The way I got into metal actually is I I was literally 6 years old. It would have been 1999, and or no, it was the year 2000, I think. Scream 3 had just come out, and the Scream 3 soundtrack, I just thought it looked cool at like the cassette store. So I got my mom to buy it for me because it had the ghost face mask on it. And she was like, Peter, like, this isn't the movie Scream 3. Like, you're not allowed to watch that movie. Like, but like, you can have the tape, whatever. Like, but it's not going to be what you think it is. It's just music from the movie. I was like, I don't care. Like, I think it's cool. Like, I want to buy it. So she got it for me, and it had Wait and Bleed by Slipknot on it.
I
It had
felt the hate rising
yeah,
within me.
it had
Yeah.
Tyler. That was track two. The first track was a Creed song that I actually fucked with because I was 7 and it was hard. I don't care. It's called What If. And that was actually in the movie. And then Wait and Bleed was next. It also had Spiders by System of a Down. It had Tyler's song by Cold Chamber on it. So it was just like a new metal. Like I wish I still had that cassette because honestly, like it's probably fun. I bet like Power Man 5000 was probably on it too. Shit like that. Even like weird stuff, like maybe like I don't know, like Filter or something was probably on there or something. And so that's like how I literally found out about metal music. And like my dad was always down to listen to it. And then I bought when I was a little older, because I didn't get like heavily into music until like middle school. I bought the self-titled Slipknot record, and my dad is a drummer, so he always thought Joey Jordison was like super cool. Like he would show me videos of Joey, like me not even being like him showing me videos of Joey Jordison. He was like, "You got to see this dude like play," because my dad didn't play double bass. Like he was a jazz player. He plays double bass like he can, and he does now more so. But I had never really seen someone play that stuff. So I was a little kid, and he wanted me to like be exposed to that. So then I bought the self-titled record with like some, I don't know, maybe birthday money or something. And I remember vividly like putting it on in the car with him. And the first song, there's a sample in the first song. Do you like Slipknot? Are you
Yeah,
familiar?
I know.
Yeah.
The first track is sick, right? On that.
Yeah. So in
Yeah.
Sick, it opens up and like the fucking drums are like real intense. And then it breaks and there's a sample. And for the longest time I thought the sample was the dude saying pick up the pace. But I think he actually says "Here comes the pain." But me and my dad heard it as "Pick up the pace," and I like vividly remember my dad being like laughing out loud because he was like, "Pick up the pace!" Like this fucking dude's like his double bass is crazy right now. There's probably it's funny too because if people like, there's definitely drummers who, if they're watching this, can play like faster double bass than what's in that song specifically. Um, but it was, I think for my dad being a jazz drummer than me being a little kid, it was like, fast fucking shit that I had not heard before. And so then my dad just like was like, yeah, we got to listen to this whole record. Like this drummer is sick,
That's
And
cool.
my dad also like he really liked Travis Barker because like Blink-182 was huge. And Travis Barker is a really fucking good drummer, and like so he got me onto him. And there were a few like drum hero dudes from like that era. I mean, I'm sure a lot of death metal people probably don't give a fuck about Blink-182, but my dad was always into like showing me, like he literally showing me music that he thought I would like because he just like I guess could tell that like I was probably the one that was going to be like more into that. And then ultimately I was like, yeah, I want to learn how to play guitar. So he fucking bought me that Slipknot guitar that I now still play. So
That's sick.
yeah.
Damn,
All right.
dude.
I mean, I've been ranting for fucking 90 minutes.
Dude, I've fucking like I said, we'll go 5 hours. We're gonna cut it when you're ready to cut it. So that's when you tell me you tap out. Corpse Pile made me tap out because they
Dude,
got
5 hours. Yeah, if there were more people here, if I was chilling with like my friends, like if I was in Corpse Pile, I'm sure we could probably like shoot the shit for mad long.
yeah.
It's kind of hard to talk about yourself for forever because then you like Mutilation. We did an interview kind of like it's on YouTube actually. Um, it like just went up. It's like when you do the interview with your band, it's like half the interview is everyone just like making fun of each other and saying dumb shit. So it's just like hanging out. It's just shit like lasts way longer.
Have you ever had any uh any paranormal experiences?
Not um, I've never explicitly seen ghosts, or at least there was one time when with my friends we thought we saw one. However, my mom passed away when I was 19, and I've had a number of like trippy experiences where like I mean one literally happened like 2 days ago, actually. So like I was my brother's daughter was born, and she was born. um I won't get into like I don't want to like get too personal about it, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just like I visited my mom afterwards. And whenever I visit my mom, so she's buried in Boston. She grew up in Boston. Um, when my mom passed away, like the day she passed away, like 30 minutes after my mom died, the nurse told me, she could see I was like really upset, and she told me like, hey, like, um, I know you miss your mom. If you ever want to like hear from your mom, just look for roses. I don't know why she told me that. It's like I didn't even know this woman. Like literally, like I've never met this nurse. And like she doesn't know me. Like why would she tell me that, you know? But she said that like when her mom died, that was what someone had told her, and she had some experiences after that. And so like literally like the other day I visited my mom and I was like, hey mom, like, you know, things are kind of crazy right now. If you, you know, if you feel like it, like you don't have to, but like just send some roses or whatever. Then like the next day, my brother sent me a picture of his daughter, and she had a blanket on her. The blanket had all these roses on it, and I was like, yo, who bought her that rose blanket? And they were like, oh, Steph's parents, his wife. So the baby's grandparents on um his wife's side of the family. He was like, oh, they just found it in the gift shop. Like that was just the one they chose. And I was just like, that's like so weird because I literally asked mom yesterday, like, why? You know what I mean? Like why not like a baby blanket with like teddy bears on it or something, or like roses? It just seems so weird, you know. This other time, I was like kind of in a rough spot. I was working at a grocery store, and I had again like asked my mom to send roses. My mom was a nurse, and her name was Sheila, and I worked in a fucking grocery store. And I worked because I worked my way through college doing that, and when people would come in and need like flowers, if it was late, like I would have to wrap the flowers for them. And a woman came in at like really late, and she needed a bouquet of flowers. And her name was Sheila, and she was a nurse, and she needed the roses for some patient that she was going to go see. I was like, and the only reason I knew that her name was Sheila was because she came in wearing her nurse uniform, and she had
What?
a name tag on that said Sheila. Now, I mean, Sheila is not a really common name. You know what I'm
I've
saying?
met like two people with that name in my life,
Literally.
my entire life.
And her being a nurse too. And like, there was just something like about this person. I was like, it just felt, and I literally had just like I'll out loud literally talk to my mom. Like, I don't know how spiritual or whatever you are, but like, it's something that I do. And I had literally asked her like for some shit. Um, there's been a few other ones too. Literally, I mean, also literally right after that nurse told me that shit. Um, again, I'd never met this nurse in my life, never. Um, she didn't know anything about my mom. To my knowledge, she didn't know anything. Um, she told me to look for roses, and then like a couple hours later, I'm chilling with my aunt, and she wasn't in the room when this woman told me to look for roses. And she was like, you know, Peter, I always remember like your mom. She always loved to like email us. Like we always talked over email, and she would always sign all of her emails with just a rose. And that was just such a nice thing that she would do. And I was like, really? Like
That's
that
that's
nurse
so
just told
strange.
me 2 hours ago to look for roses for mom, you know?
Yeah.
And then my nana later on, she was like, she starts telling me the story about how when my mom was born, they literally in the hospital called her the rosebud baby because her lips were so red that they reminded her, the nurses, of rosebuds. And I was like, what the like
Yeah.
really? Like that's crazy. Like, you know. And then so I have this tattoo on my arm. It's for my mom, and it's I don't know if you do like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So in Lord of the Rings, there's the Undying Lands. They're in the West. My mom's favorite song was by Annie Lennox. It's called Into the West. And Annie Lennox wrote that song about her dad when he passed away, and she did it for the Return of the King soundtrack. It's about someone passing away. They go to the West, which in Lord of the Rings is the Undying Land. So I got this tattoo for my mom, and the day after I got it, um, it was my first tattoo. So I was kind of like, and my mom wasn't big on tattoos, so I was like, oh fuck, like mom probably wouldn't even like this. Like I can't believe I went and got myself tattooed for my mom. Like she probably wouldn't even like tattoos. Like I love tattoos, but like I don't know, I just felt weird about it. And that night I had a dream that was super vivid. I don't usually have dreams that make any sense. My dreams are more fucked up than the music I make. They're so fucking weird, my dreams. But in this dream specifically, I was on a beach and I was sitting there with my mom, and her favorite place in the world was the beach, and she didn't look. She looked like, you know how they say when like people pass on to the other side, like if you see them in dreams or something, usually they appear like in like the way that they would want to appear if they were in like, you know, the afterlife, you would be like you'd want to like look your best or whatever when you were happiest in your life. Maybe that's like a theory I've heard. Well, it was her, but she was like 20. Like she was my young mom, and I knew it was my mom because it's my mom, but like she was young, and she's sitting there with me, and she's like touching my tattoo, and I just like could just like feel her touching my tattoo. Like it was so different from other dreams. Like you can feel things in dreams, but like it was like there was like an energy to it. And she's like rubbing my tattoo and telling me like how much she likes it, and like how like don't worry, like I know like I didn't really like tattoos, but like that tattoo means so much to me.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, dude. That was my fucking mom. Like I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like I just knew it was her. It was just the craziest thing. Like I've had dreams about my mom that are like sad, where it's like that wasn't my mom, but that shit was like it. I feel like she was coming by to be
Yeah.
like, hey, like, and her sister passed away of cancer, and she had dreams about her sister that were just like that. So um, that's the most like paranormal that I've experienced. I don't know, nothing, no like spooky ghost story type things, but like I don't know. I guess that's kind of spooky in a way.
That's crazy, man. That's yeah, like your subconscious, like you said, dreams don't make sense too. Like to
Yeah,
really
it's yeah,
to
and we
have
still know like we still don't know much about them.
yeah, so that's hella crazy, dude. That's some
What about
heavy
you? I
shit.
mean, did you bring it up because you had like some crazy experiences or?
No, I usually ask everybody like you ever
Oh
seen a
yeah,
ghost? Yeah. Like
I
fucking
have a friend. Dude, I have a friend who's seen ghosts. Actually,
really.
one time we were chilling at my friend's house. My friend Bruno. Uh, he'll probably watch this. He'll think this is funny, but
I
it's
have
actually kind of freaky though.
I got a phone number that I want him to call if you can give him this phone number. Um we do
Okay.
we do a show called it me and Bryce Crypt Keepers. You know him?
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know Bryce.
Yeah, we do a show called Late Night in the Crypt and we have a phone
Oh,
number
I see.
where
I saw that you did that. What's the number?
yeah, it's 20 let me pull it up. It's oh my god. That shit's crazy, man. That story you just told me was some heavy ass shit.
Yeah, dude. It's funny. I came on here and I'm always with like the fucking. I don't know, dude. My life's been fucking crazy to be honest with you. Between like my mom dying of cancer and me getting cancer, like it's every time I talk about it, I'm like, I'm about to drop a bomb on this person, like emotionally. But I don't know. It's just this has been my life, so it
Well,
is
you
what it
got to
is.
write your story. Like that's my biggest thing about having people on here, and I do get too personal sometimes. And like I know sometimes I'll even ask questions where some people are like, "Yo, I don't feel comfortable answering that type of shit," but
Yeah,
it's like I
yeah.
really,
I'm kind of an open book. Probably too much. That's actually an understatement. I am a open as fuck book, and I need to close that shit up. To be honest with you, it's a problem, like for real. But I
yeah,
trust you, and you're cool. And this shit that I've been talking about is like all super relevant to what I've been doing. So
yeah,
what's
man.
the number?
Oh, it's two. Oh no, 419 210
Yeah, 210
3708.
3708. Yeah. So all right, I'll give it to him. I don't know if I honestly don't know if they'll want to like talk too much about it. He's a little he gets spooked out sometimes because he's
Really?
he's had some experiences for sure. And we were chilling at his house, me and my friend Eric, and there was a cross hanging in Bruno's room, and we were like making fun of it because we're teenagers, we're assholes, and teenagers who grew up listening to Slayer make fun of crosses. So,
Yeah,
um, and Bruno's super into metal, but his family's religious. He's a Cuban, like they're Catholic, and not that that necessarily means anything, but that's just his culture. And so he's like, dude, like stop, like oh, I don't stop fucking with that cross. So like we flipped it upside down on his wall, and we're just like joking or whatever. I swear to God, this cross was not that heavy.
yeah,
It it flew off of the wall and it flew under this bed in the room, like in an angle that made no sense. Like it was on the wall and like the bed was here, it was above the bed. It flew off the bed, flew under it flew off the wall, flew under the bed, and then like into the wall on the other side. And we were like, bro, what the fuck just happened? Like that, like what? Like it was like nailed to the wall, and we just flipped it upside down, and it was fine. Like the most I would have, you know what I mean? But it like fucking shot off the wall for no reason, and we were just like, okay, like we put it back up, like right side,
Yeah.
the right side, and we're like, ha, like that was weird, like how that happened. Like, all right, and then like just like no words spoken about it for the rest of the night. And then like years later, we're like, bro, do you remember like that cross shit that happened? Like that was so fucked up. So that was kind of weird.
Yeah, that's scary as fuck, man. Poltergeist shit. I don't fuck around with that. I haven't experienced that ever. Fucking Rex Sterling, he was this cat that I had on here a while back. He said he used to keep these like luchador masks because he was a wrestler, and he wore masks for like a period of time. And he said he had them all on like dummy heads up against the wall. And he got in an argument with some chick one time, and fucking in the middle of the argument, one of these dummy heads, or I think it was the whole head, just flew off the fucking wall like into the middle of the room and then just dropped. And they were just
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? It was an apartment that he lived in like
yeah.
in the East
Like
Coast.
like it's like how what did that?
Yeah,
Like
dude.
how would that happen if not? I don't know.
Yep.
I have no explanation. I don't know how that would happen, but it sounds like I believe it.
Poltergeist, man. Motherfucking
Yeah, like if that's like one of the one movies that will actually freak me out. It's still like the original Exorcist. When I watch that movie, that movie's fucking terrifying.
dude, have you seen Murder Bar on Instagram?
Murder Bar, no.
You gotta follow
On,
this guy. He's
on
so lit.
Instagram.
Yeah, he has his own like bar that he built, and it's like murder underscore bar 666. I think is how you spell it. But he has like a bust. I don't know if it's a bust or a full recreation of Reagan from Exorcist. And he
Oh,
was just
what?
showing it the other day, and I was like, "Yo, that is so
That's
creepy,
sick,
dude!" Like,
dude.
yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
That shit is crazy. That's so terrifying. Like, yeah, it's straight up that movie. I don't, it's funny. It used to scare the shit out of me. But nowadays, like, the only time I can get really scared off some shit is if I smoke some weed. Because I feel like,
Yeah.
it brings back that vulnerable feeling, kind of. Like,
Oh yeah, dude.
you
I
know?
can't even, dude. I can't even get high anymore. It just destroys my brain. And for a while, I was like, I thought I was like because I was older that like my brain had developed and that I had gotten past that. But I promise you, I did not get past that at all. And yeah, I fucking hear you.
Yeah. I just read earlier that age 25 to 30 is a minefield for like mental illnesses developing. And after hearing that, I'm like, what the fuck? I thought I was in the
dude,
clear at
that's
25.
what I'm saying, dude. Oh my god, I'm like almost out of. We're almost out of it, bro. We're like almost at 30. Like I just gotta, you know.
I know, no traumatic experiences, please. I've had some weird shit happen in the last couple of years. Like, I don't know, like certain shit triggers me or freaks me out. Like, and I'm just like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, am I going crazy? Like, I seen like Shaq's hairline one time, and it just didn't look right, And then it was something about hairlines was fucking me up. Like, and it wasn't like the feeling of like terror, like when you wake up from like a night terror and like
Yeah.
something is just wrong and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, I was getting that feeling off of certain shit. I don't know if it was the transition of color or if I'm losing my fucking mind, but yeah, dude.
No, dude. Honestly, you probably just like. So I've had anxiety and depression like since I was like 14, like on and off real bad. And the anxiety can be fucking horrible, especially with weed. I've had like literally just like almost feel like a bad trip if I'm like too high. And but no, I think that shit like that can just get triggered from even if you're not high, but you smoked a decent amount of weed or like you know, like it kind of opens up like little pathways in your brain and shit, and But I try not to. I would try not to think that it. If you like think you're going crazy, you're probably not going crazy. People that go
Yeah.
crazy don't realize they're crazy. That's what they say. You know.
Yeah.
So
It's just weird,
Shaq's
man.
hairline though, Shaq's hairline, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like there was one where it was like super high and just he had like this fade where they did like it wasn't even like a zero. It was like a point 0.5 and it was just how fine the line was in transition from his head. And then I was watching Corky Romano and fucking with what's his name? Chris Kattan. And
Oh shit.
there's a scene where he's sneaking into this like skinhead party or some shit cuz he's undercover and he's wearing like one of those bald caps, and the way that his skin color transitioned to the bald cap, it did the same exact thing for me where I was like like it felt like being electrocuted, bro. It was so fucking weird. Like I was like,
Yo, I think so. It's probably I can't remember the name of the word, but there's actually like a phobia. It's like a fear of like it's this is not the same thing you're describing, but I feel like this is probably a similar thing. It's like surfaces with like really small holes in it.
trypophobia. I know what you're
Try,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind of
So
like that.
maybe, yeah, maybe it's that type of thing, but you don't know the word for it. It
Yeah,
probably
I don't know
exists.
what it is. Another thing that triggers me too, bro, is like if I get a stack of post-it notes and I flick my thumb on them, that
Oh, the
that
like,
sensation
yeah,
fucking does the same shit, bro.
yeah.
It's
It's
weird.
probably there's probably a word for it. And
Yeah.
just like it's
I
some
have
sort of like
some I have some sort of trauma that needs to get like
yeah,
fucking taken
you gotta
care of,
unpack it.
and I can't put a finger on it, bro. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what the fuck it was. But yeah, man. So I guess that was a weird tangent that I've gone off on. I really just I've never talked about some shit like that on the show. People are gonna think I'm crazy. But
Dude, this is just like people always be telling me shit. You can cut it out if you feel weird about it. I'm just like I talk about anything. So
yeah, I don't really care. I mean, what I'm kind of scared of is what if somebody fucking puts in the comment, like someone sees that, knows exactly what it is, puts it in the comments, and I'm like fucked up. like
yeah, well then
oh god.
maybe you should cut it out then. I don't
I
know. But
know. I got some shit. Oh yeah, that sounds like you're developing schizophrenia, brother. You need to fucking go. I'm like, no, I
no,
don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that.
no.
Fuck it.
That's some shit that I mean, dude, if you get too high and then you think about developing those types of things, like that'll just I think most people, if
Oh
you have
yeah.
like any kind of inclination to be anxious and have that type of shit, like it just like that's so freaky, you know. Plus,
Bro.
there's a lot of fucking death metal about that shit too, about like
Yeah.
going crazy. And like, there's like that whole Sepultura record called Schizophrenia. It's like a terrifying concept. So it's I can relate to you on that for sure.
Yeah, that shit scares me. You know another thing that freaks me out, and someone needs to make a song about this shit. You know the cathode ray tubes that they used to
Mm-hmm.
put in fucking monitors, bro?
Yeah.
In two situations where I've been doing demo work, those shits have busted open, bro.
Oh
bust
shit.
busted open while I was working. I know, and that's the reaction everybody gets when I talk about
What is
that.
it? What happens when that happens?
Just
Did you like smash it open or did it just bust open?
threw it fucking just threw it over some shit and then just bam, and then you look and the fucking back of the TV's open, the tube shattered, and just all whatever the fuck was in there is just everywhere, like in the
Right.
air, you know?
Just like a foggy mist of weird
It's
shit.
just
Or
a
like
cloud of heavy metals and shit we're not supposed to breathe
yeah,
in.
yeah, dude,
Like
that's fucked up.
that's happened twice to me, and I told this one dude about that, and he was like, yeah man, that'll like cause mental deteriorate, like that you're gonna have dementia basically, like at a young age from breathing that. I'm like, what the fuck? And I Google it and I can't find nothing like that on there. So but then when I took it to the e-waste center after it was busted, they're like, you're driving around with this shit open in your car, like we're not taking that, it's broken. Like I was like, oh fuck, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I used to do spray paint art. Um, I like would do like make stencils. I was thinking about doing it actually more lately. I'm probably gonna do some like mutilation barbecue stencils and shit. Just because I don't know. It was fun. It was like a good like relaxing thing to do, just cutting stencils with like an X-Acto knife and then making like like prints and shit.
Yeah.
And super fun, but I spent so much time doing it without like a mask on. You know, like I would just breathe in the fucking spray paint and shit. And that was before I got cancer. So then like I got cancer and someone told me, they were like, yo, it's probably all that spray paint you're breathing in. And I was like, was like, yo, why do you even have to say that to me?
That's
Like,
terrible.
now I'm like, had I not been like, oh, I really want to fucking like I started doing it because I like really wanted to have like shit like art to hang in my room. And I was like, oh, I don't really feel like buying a poster. I'm just gonna spray paint my own. You know, so just because I really wanted like an at the drive-in poster that I wanted to paint, like now I have cancer. Like I don't know, just fucked with me like pretty hard for a bit. But I think in general, like it's so hard to prove like what causes what, and you know, it's like not even worth like getting into. You know,
Yeah.
like,
When I was
who
21,
fucking knows?
I did some cocaine. I told this story a couple times. I did some cocaine when I was 21 that was laced with it wasn't laced. It was cut with fucking chlorine.
Oh God,
That probably fucked me up too. Like
that is.
there's all sorts of shit, man,
Yeah, what
that's
was that
fucking done
like?
it. Oh,
Did it smell
terrible.
like a pool?
Dude, I'm a dumbass because I didn't realize it. I got it for like free. Like somebody gave me just like a whole bunch, and they were just like, "Here you go, man." And I was like, "Cool, right on." And it was when I was a musician, you know. So like, if
Yeah,
I was doing shows every weekend, I was just like, "Whatever." Like this ain't shit. Waking up in the morning, hitting it. Like it was
yeah.
college. It was that lifestyle, you know. And yeah, man, fucking. I remember like walking around and just smelling and thinking like, because I lived in this apartment complex in Chico called the Zoo, and it's literally
Okay,
like just fucking. It's like 4 bedroom apartments that are built in buildings of fours, and there's like fucking 16 rows of two of them. So it's just a giant crazy thing. People are playing beer pong on the fucking grass outside, a bunch of hippies and shit. It's super cool. And I remember thinking that they kept cleaning the pool because they had a pool in the middle of it. So I was just like, man, that pool cleaning, because I always had the windows open because of the smoke and everything. So I was like, that pool cleaner's been going at it for days now. Like and I didn't think anything of it until all the powder was
dude.
gone. It was probably like a couple months after when I really thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, that's why that dude gave it to me for fucking free. Like,
Well, you know what, dude? Like, don't they say that like all of the water we drink has chlorine in it? And like, you know, like
yeah,
whatever.
fuck it,
Fuck
right?
it.
I'm all right.
Literally, literally, fuck it. Right? It is what it is. You fucking snorted the chlorine. I'm sorry.
I had a
It'll
good
be all
time. I remember
right. Probably kept you like real awake for your shows.
yeah.
And,
Never
you
again.
know,
Never again.
yeah, we
Oh
live and
God.
learn. Dude, my fucking dad's friend, same friend who with the paranormal shit. His dad grew up in fucking Cuba. They would play with like uranium, like actual uranium, and like just have it in their literally in their hands.
Dude, what
And
the fuck?
like from like thermometers, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They'd be in like a
Oh,
junkyard,
you mean the
find like a
mercury?
broken thermometer, and be like, "Oh, this is like literally like mercury." Yeah, mercury. Yeah, and
Ugh.
like he's fucking his dad's a badass, and it's
That's
like
crazy.
he's
I know, and
fine.
fine,
So
right? Completely fine.
yeah, he's some people like some people don't do shit and get real fucked. Other people do mad crazy stuff and they're fine. So
Yeah.
who
It
knows?
builds the immunity doing all that kind of shit,
Yeah,
you
yeah. I
know?
think I think it I think it does to a certain extent for sure. Yo, actually, to switch gears, um, we didn't talk about the background there, the Star
Yeah,
Kid
dude.
thing. I
Motherfucking
just wanted to mention that. So like, yeah, that's so crazy that you said that was like you thought of that listening to the EP, right?
I saw it in theaters as a kid, and I thought
Same.
about it when I read all the lyrics to your project, and like I always try to get something special like for my guests, like that
Yeah.
correlates to your project or you. And yeah, I like when I saw the dude and I understood what the concept was, I was like, oh shit, he just landed here from space to like fuck some shit up. And I was like, landing here from space, just like out of the cuts, like this strange like humanoid type man. And reminded me of the Star Kid, man. I saw this
Yeah.
when it came out. I love that film, and I didn't think you would even fucking recognize it too, because sometimes I'll
Dude.
put some shit out there and like
Yeah.
the reference is totally like missed. But
I think for like 90% of people you could have had on here, I feel like I mean maybe not, maybe people know that movie. But also maybe because you and I are apparently the same age, like I knew exactly what that was as soon as I saw it because I saw that movie when I was a kid too, and like, and I literally have not thought about that movie in probably more than a decade actually until right now. But I did really like it, and I remember like almost like fantasizing as like a little kid of like getting my own like Star Kid suit. Like some dude comes down and I get to be like a superhero in his because that's what the movie. People who haven't seen it. It's like this fucking like that dude fucking crash lands on Earth and he's there because he has to like kill some like monster. And then like for whatever reason he needs this like kid who's like a nerd to like basically inhabit his body and like become like a superhero. And yeah, and then we were talking before we filmed. There's that scene where he feeds him the cheeseburger and like he eats the cheeseburger and it goes through the robot's mouth and it comes out on like this like he like filters all the bullshit out of it and like he just gets this like little like sphere of like meat or whatever. Like that's such a the image of that scene is like really vivid in my mind from when I saw that in the movies. It was so weird to me.
Yeah, it
And
was
like the
this
last
poop.
scene where they were like fighting the alien in like the junkyard. I remember that pretty vividly. Um, yeah, I don't literally have not thought of that movie in forever, but I immediately knew what that was. I know it. I remember it well enough that I remember the name of it too,
Yeah,
like Star Kid.
that's so funny, man. Like that's fucking trip, man. I did a background one time. It was well when I had Corpse Pile on. I got the background from the game Bloodborne, the underground corpse
Oh,
pile,
oh yeah,
and it was hilarious because Jason like saw it and he was like, "Is that Bloodborne?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, that underground corpse pile." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's where we got our name from." And I was like,
that's so sick.
"What the fuck?" Like I had no idea, you know? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Actually, hold on 1 second. I got something. I was gonna pull it out. I have the Bloodborne soundtrack on vinyl. I probably can't find it if I look, but
bruh, that
yeah,
no way. So, oh shit.
dude, I love Bloodborne. That's just the fucking the first Pale Gaze LP. A lot of those lyrics are like based on Bloodborne, and that cover is based on like there's a boss in that game called the fuck is it? Some like giant like amalgamation of like bodies that are like plate like pasted together or something. That was kind of like the inspiration behind the cover. So yeah, I think a lot of us death metal dudes love that shit.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Rom the vacuous spider. Like he
yeah,
was.
dude, that's the thing too about like the Bloodborne bosses is that the names of the bosses sound like death metal songs or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like the choices of words, it's so like really I don't know because you sometimes you hear like a death metal song and read the title and you're like I don't even know like these words. And like that's like the Bloodborne shit. All the bosses have like very Rom the Vacuous Spider is probably the coolest like boss name I've ever heard in my life. Just like so badass sounding. It just makes you think like you're like vacuous. Like what the fuck? Like it's just so that game is super cosmic in its imagery for sure.
yeah. They. I
Um,
can't believe how they crafted it, man. That shit was huge inspiration. It got me to get really into. Well, it's funny because prior to that, I got super into H.P. Lovecraft, like a couple
yeah.
years just before, and I picked up this book. It was like $20 at Barnes and Noble, and it was the entire works of H.P. Lovecraft, and it's like in this big fucking like hardbound book. And I remember reading that shit, like a bunch of the stories in the Dunwich Horror. Um, I think
Oh
that's where the
yeah.
one that you're talking about got the inspiration from, because Dunwich Horror is fucking terrifying, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
dude. Yes. Actually, so I have my hat that I have on. This is I think it was all fucked up. This is Ulthar. Do you know this band, Ulthar?
uh.
Oh, well, so their name is based on the Cats of Ulthar, which is that H.P. Lovecraft story. I'm pretty sure it's about like some cats from some planet. I
Yeah.
think I don't know. And I have they're kind of like I don't know how I would describe it. They're like maybe blackened death metal. Maybe they're on like $20 spin. And they have a song called "The Dunwich Horror" based on that. It's on their record. Their record called Cosmovore, and like the album cover is art that they got from this old H.P. Lovecraft book, and it's just this like crazy looking like space alien or something. Like same kind of thing Blood Incantation did, like the hidden history cover. That's actually like an old like sci-fi book that they
Yeah.
use the art from. And for the Cosmo War record, it's literally a picture of this um, like not like Cthulhu, but I mean, it basically looks like those monsters that are in the Nightmare of Mensis area in Bloodborne. Like it looks just like that. And that band is sick too. If you're into like really fast, like crazy, like blast beat plus like intense death metal shit, Allfire is
I
sick.
I listen to everything except for Rings of Saturn.
Dude, I don't like Rings of Saturn either. You know who loves Rings of Saturn though? Is our singer in Mutilation Barbecue, Chris. He fucking loves Rings of Saturn, and I fucking roast him for that. So I'm like, yo, that band is stupid.
It's just
They're
too much
It's too
noise.
much. They're look, they're. I'm not gonna say that they're like not completely insane at their instruments because obviously they are,
Oh yeah.
but it's just like it's like I do not want to listen to that. I'm sorry. And
Yeah.
you know what? I mean, who gives a shit? Like mad people apparently want to listen to it because that band's pretty popular, but like, it's
I'd
not
rather
my
listen to
shit.
TV static, man. It's more soothing. Like music is every kind of music is like soothing. You know what I mean? Like to
Yeah. Also,
somewhat.
there's something really processed sounding about their production on the guitars. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's just too much. It's there's no like I don't know. I know
It's
exactly what you mean.
well, it's like what you said about your drums, how you have to like,
Yeah,
adjust
you gotta
them to
tweak.
make
Yeah,
them
it's not.
more
It's too
human.
perfect. Their shit is too perfect. It sounds like some shit that like aliens played. Like they're too good at their instruments to where it's like I'm not listening to a human being play a guitar solo. I'm listening to like you know what I mean. So I'd rather go listen to some shit that I can like mentally relate to. So I'm
it's,
like, this is on some other level
it's
that
fucking
is
fucking robot music.
right. Like I aliens are sick, but I want to hear the humans play the music about the aliens. I want to hear like I wouldn't be surprised if those dudes are literally aliens. That shit is crazy.
Those motherfuckers, you find out like they're like still touring in like 2000 fucking like 50 and shit, and it's like okay,
Yeah,
they're fucking androids, dude. Elon
they're like
Musk
yeah,
fucking made them. He developed them.
they're like touring like on Saturn, like literally like in space.
They're an
Yeah,
experiment. That's all
it's
they.
crazy that band even still like exists. Like, I feel like they've been around for a minute.
I know you'd think they'd have fucking carpal tunnel now.
Yeah, yeah. Like, how do you even do that shit? Like, what? You know what?
Like, what
Now
the
that I said it out loud, so I do. There's this funny I have this experience frequently where I'll like talk shit about a band like we just did. And now I'm gonna go listen to them and I'll hit you up later. I'll be like, yo, Rings of Saturn's like my new favorite band. Like it's like I have to say it out loud. And it's almost like I purge this shit talking from my mind. And then I go and listen to it later and I'm like, what was I thinking? Like this is amazing. Like I bet you I'm gonna go listen to them now and they're gonna be like my favorite band. But probably not. I've had that happen with a few different bands. I
I've
need to
done
like
that.
get things out and say it out loud, and then it's like out of my head.
What fucking band is like that for me? Oh, you know what? I'll tell you this. None So Vile. The first time I heard that album,
Dude,
I
perfect album.
well, the first time I heard it, I said, "What the fuck is this?" Because I was like, "What is the
Oh, it's
best
yeah,
death metal album?" And everybody was like, "None So Vile, None So Vile, None So Vile." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna listen to this." And I listened to it, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" There's too much going on this album.
yeah,
And then I go back to it like two more times, just trying to make sense of it. And now, like, I'm my project that I'm trying to do because I'm Hunter. I gotta say, baby, when you told me to come to the Swamp Sound and record some music, you got me. I haven't recorded music and well, I've been recording music, but I haven't done metal in years. You got me to pick
yeah,
up my guitar. I mean, Hunter Young himself is like, "Yo, let's make a project." I'm like, dude,
yeah, yeah.
I'm fucking making music, bro. Call me fucking
Oh
Jimmy
yeah.
Page, bro. Fucking but yeah, like None So Vile is like After hearing it so much, that's my biggest inspiration. Like when I'm trying to write riffs right now, is like I want to fucking get that chaotic fucking
Yeah, dude.
that chaotic sound, but it's so chaotic but so clear and so fucking,
Yeah.
you know,
No, dude.
like
So honestly, I think a lot of people probably have that experience listening to, I mean, anything as extreme as that record, because it is, like legendarily crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like an acquired taste. Also, the way the Cryptopsy records are mixed, especially that one, and then Blasphemy Made Flesh. Um, I always noticed that the mixes on those records is really specific to those records. Like there's almost like not other death metal albums that sound exactly like it, the way the drums are. They also mix the bass like really prominently. And the bass player, he'll do especially on Blasphemy Made Flesh, he'll do some like kind of weird parts. Um, but yeah, None So Vile is like it's when you like really understand like why that album is so sick, it becomes like your favorite shit. Like it's just so sick. It's anytime I hear the opening sample, I'm just like stoked. Like that's a record that a lot of records that I put on at the gym. Just like if I don't know what else to put on, like I'll put on None So Vile, and like it's just like it's so fucking heavy, and there's a certain like imagery to it too that's just really cool. Um, like yeah, I can talk about that record actually for another like 2 hours probably, dude. The guitar solos on that album are crazy too. They're again, like you said, chaotic and and yet very clean, like very intricate in like really weird ways. And he'll do weird phrases where like he'll like the notes that he'll end on and like the weird sweeps that he'll do. Like it's like no one could really play that way. Like it's so specific to him. I can't even think of the guitar player's name, um but yeah, that record is fucking sick. It's one that like you could just loop. You know what I mean? You just
yeah.
keep listening to None So Vile, and like you just kind of like pick up new things every time you hear it. I really like Blasphemy Made Flesh too. That record's really good. I mean, their later stuff's cool too. Honestly, like that band is really fucking cool. I still like I'm like dying to get like a sick None So Vile long sleeve or something from like some like I'm waiting for like one of these bootleg sites to like do a really sick one. I
Yeah.
like I missed out on one a while back that I'm like pissed I didn't see, but like I just like want to rep that record. Like actually, I think Anthony from Gordon Brace. So Gordon Brace is a band that they're going to be going on tour with us with Mutilation Barbecue, and I talked to Anthony, the vocalist of that band, and I'm pretty sure Cryptopsy is like his favorite death metal band, and None So Vile is like the record, Um, yeah, it's one that like people always talk about. It's like one of those ones that you just like have to listen to. It's like required listening.
Yeah, it's ahead of its time. It's like there's no fucking
It
it's
is.
I've never heard anything else like it. Like I want to say the closest thing, and this is a hot take right here. I'm getting bad with the hot takes, but
No, I
the
like it.
thing that has come the closest to None So Vile is and it's one song. I don't think no band has ever been able to do this shit, but it came as out of left field and almost sounded something like it was Knee Deep by Job for a Cowboy.
Dude, Job for a Cowboy is fucking sick, and I know what you mean.
Like it just
I know what
came
you
out
mean.
of left field. It was super different for the time, and like
Yeah.
but it's not on the level of like that album, like, or
No, but
anything
dude,
on there.
honestly, dude, Job for a Cowboy, and also like that first Suicide Silence record. Um, I guess more so Job for a Cowboy. I don't know how much you give a shit about old Suicide Silence, but I just remember like that stuff coming out like around the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's deathcore, and people have mixed opinions on deathcore, but it leans so heavy towards death metal, in my opinion. Like the Job for a Cowboy shit is like if you just like death metal, but you want to hear like a more modern production and like really guttural vocals, like Job for a Cowboy is sick. Like I
Well,
love that band.
it was crazy too. Is like the thing about it. Like it was so weird. Like the timing that he did. Because at that time, what was it like? It was like cattle decapitation was like really
Yeah,
big at the time. You know, there was like metalcore was just like in its full fucking thing. Like this shit was hella. You had Black Dahlia Murder at the time too, playing super technical type shit and melodic shit. And then you have this band that came out of nowhere because I feel like it was before the deathcore movement like really started. And then they even
Yeah,
they like pulled it back. Like I
yeah.
remember they hit the scene. They were touring everywhere, and they had the EP, the Doom EP, I think, and that shit came out, and everybody like lost their shit, and we're
Is that
waiting.
the shit with the the cow head on it?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and then like the sequel came out, or their follow up came out, and they were just like, "Yo, we're just death metal now. Like we're
yeah.
not, you know, we're not pushing." Because I felt like they pushed some boundaries with that shit at that time, and it for sure inspired and kicked off a lot of like that deathcore shit that started like Whitechapel, Suicide Silence, all the
Yeah,
shit that
right, 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 right.
followed
Yeah,
suit. I did
for sure.
personally, I didn't fuck with. I like Suicide Silence, but I didn't fuck with Whitechapel because I
Yeah, me
read an
neither.
interview from like the guitarist from Guitar World magazine. I used to have a subscription back then, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, this dude was like, you know, we just kind of play whatever we play. We don't think too hard about what we're making. They were like, how did you get so popular so fast? And he was like, we do a show. The girls, what did he say? The guys come to the show, or no, we do a show, and then the girls come to the show, and then the girls bring the guys because they're trying to get at the girls, and then we have a whole scene. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of shit is that? I was like, bro, like,
yeah. Also, like, what?
yeah. I'm like,
That's
that's
not
like,
even true.
I'm, I just try to make music, man. Like, I was trying to make sick sounding music at the time, you know?
Yeah, that's a weird. That's a weird. It's like definitely not even true. It's like not how that happened. I think they just made like heavy music and people liked it. It's not.
Yeah,
It's a weird response for sure.
yeah.
Um, yeah, the old like the first Whitechapel record. I enjoy that band when I listen to them, but I don't know their music well. The first Suicide Silence record though, and their EP before that, I fucking to this day I listen to that like very frequently. Job for a Cowboy was definitely on the precipice of that. My friend Eric got me into Job for a Cowboy. He was really into that shit. Um, and that stuff still holds up for sure. But yeah, they kind of like they're a band that like you don't hear about as much because like you said, they kind of pulled it back. I think some bands like they kind of like they know what they want to be and then they know what they don't want to be. And like sometimes when you get bigger and bigger, it's hard to like, you know, maintain what you're trying to do and like keep it focused because, you know, a lot of those bands when they get bigger, they just like Whitechapel has like clean singing and shit now in their songs and like which is fine. I mean, I listen to plenty of music with clean singing, but I just feel like Job for a Cowboy were like they're probably like, yeah, we really want to just do like we did what we wanted to do and now we're, you know, it is like we're done, you know.
You know who sucks now? Like
Who?
really bad. And I'm I gotta stop it. I'm gonna get in trouble, man. Fucking
I like getting in trouble.
the Devil Wears Prada. Fucking they used to be
Oh
sick
yeah,
when they came
yeah, of
out, bro.
course.
They were like
Yeah,
they
I honestly,
mhm.
I even like. So I'll go as late as Dead Throne on that band. I actually think that's a
Yeah,
sick record.
yeah, yeah.
That's a sick record. And like listening back to their shit, that one almost holds up more than it's like pretty fucking heavy and like not. I don't know. There's something about it. But yeah, I listened to like their more recent stuff kind of recently, and I was like,
It's Five
I
Finger
mean,
Death Punch sounding shit.
yeah, I was like, well, I think it's just because they existed for so long and they probably just like desperately want to be relevant in some kind of way again. And so maybe they're like trying to sound a certain kind of way, whereas like they should just stick to like because people nowadays like dig that stuff again, like the old Devil Wears like I used to get made fun of for listening to that stuff, but like it's almost like kind of come back and been a little like cool again or something now. I actually saw that band. I've seen them a few times, but I saw them like a few years ago. There's this casino in Connecticut called Mohegan Sun, and it was Halloween night, and we're just like walking around. I don't know why we went to the casino on Halloween, but I just like I'm walking around and there's a stage in Mohegan Sun called the Wolf's Den, and it's like right by like the slot machines and shit. Actually, Killswitch Engage fucking played there one time,
What?
and it was like, dude, and it was like packed, and like people like were just like standing next to like slot machines and fucking kill switches up there. That was funny as hell. But yeah, so I'm walking around the casino and I hear the Devil Wears Prada, and I'm like, why are they playing the Devil Wears Prada in the casino? And it also doesn't sound like it sounds live. Like, what the fuck? It's like we walk by the fucking Wolf's Den, and the Devil Wears Prada is on stage. Like, and like, there's not that many people watching because the Wolf's Den shows are free. Like, at least when Killswitch played, it was like everyone knew, and it was like cool because like I think Killswitch are from Massachusetts, so they're like from this area kind of. So it was like a cool little thing. They were like, we're gonna play fucking the Wolf's Den, and like everyone's gonna come out, and it was packed. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't fucking see the band because you're like behind the slot machines and shit, and there were so many people. But when Devil Wears Prada, I was like, there's like no one even like watching this band. It was like so. It was sick because I then got to watch them play on Halloween in a casino for free. But
Yeah.
it was very like it was also depressing. So it was like, yo, last time I was here, there was like a Boston tribute band playing the stage to just as many people, if not more, than the Devil Wears Prada is playing to right now in this casino.
What
And
year? What year was that?
dude, it was like 2016 maybe 2017. I'll look it up.
2016.
How
Fuck.
many I could probably find it. Hold on. Mohegan Sun, Devil Wears Prada, Halloween. No, I can't fucking. Oh,
Man.
here we go. 2015.
Oh. And to think
Yeah, dude,
back.
and they played the Zombie EP front to back at that show.
No.
Yep, right here. Hold on.
No.
Yeah, dude, the Devil Wears Prada performing Zombie EP in its entirety, Saturday, October 31st, Uncasville, Connecticut, Mohegan Sun. What this was?
No.
Yeah, dude, this was 2015. 2015, dude.
What
So
the
it wasn't even
fuck?
they weren't even that like obscured at that point. Like now, that's 7 years ago. Wow,
That's so fucked up. Like
that's crazy,
you look
dude.
at
There was like nobody there.
you look at you look at fucking 2000, 2008, 2009. They were headlining fucking Warp Tour. They were fucking
Dude, yeah, I remember seeing them on those warp tours, and then I saw them actually right after the Zombie EP came out. They did a whole tour called the Back to the Roots tour, and they played like all their old shit. And I saw them at the Harper's Ferry venue in Boston, and it was sick actually. They played like 2 nights and it was packed both nights because they were playing smaller spots on that tour because they wanted to play smaller places, but they would play them like multiple nights because there was no way they could play without selling out because they were so fucking massive at that point. You know what I mean? And and then like the shit gets kind of played out, and you're like, but like I at the time I totally took for granted that like they were like a pretty heavy fucking band, and like people really fucked with them to the point where they were really like making like getting really famous, and like they have like a whole like live DVD they did I think when
mm-hmm.
the next record came out, which I can't remember the name of it. It has like when they had that logo with the triangle and the 3 lines. They did like a live DVD there, and yeah, they like blew the fuck up, and then just kind of like went nowhere.
Like what the
So
fuck? I don't know what the disconnect was. You know what I think? Maybe they were too inconsistent with their Christian following because you remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, dude, that was the thing too. Is the Christian shit. Yeah, there was them. There was Under Oath.
They
Yo,
lost that wave.
the sickest Christian band to ever exist, in my opinion, um, is this band called As Cities Burn. I don't know if you
I've
know
heard of
that
them.
band. Dude, they have a record called Son, I Loved You at Your Darkest, and it is a masterpiece. And it is certainly heavily religious in its lyrical content, but it is so fucking good. If you're into like post hardcore, but it's like a little weirder. It's not as straightforward. It's so good.
How do you feel
But
about
yeah,
Under Oath? You remember Under Oath?
what do I think about them?
Yeah.
Dude, I listen to Under Oath to this day. I listen to Under Oath. I don't give a fuck. I Lost in the Sound of Separation is a sick record. The album's heavy as fuck. Um, Define the Great Line is a perfect record. I listen to that still. They're Only Chasing Safety. I fuck with that shit. Super, super, super nostalgic. Even the song about Jesus at the end, where he's like literally says, "Jesus, I'm ready to come home." Then their old shit, dude, like Active Depression, like they had straight up like black metal songs and shit, which
Mm-hmm.
people don't fucking know about. But if you go listen to the old Under Oath records, like what is it, Active Depression and I can't remember the other one. Yeah, we all fucked with that band. And This is shit like I was on Warflers talking about like emo bands and like screamo and shit. Like this is I know that like there's so many metal dudes that will hear me say that I like this shit and
Yeah.
just like they're gonna turn this off and be
Yeah.
like they're gonna like throw their pale gaze tape if they have one at like the wall and be like
Yeah.
fuck this. But
Dude,
you know what? I don't care, dude.
I did. So I was on Dirty Death podcast with Logan the other week, and I was streaming it live for the 24-hour broadcast we did, and fucking the subject. Sorry, fucking got to knock this burger out. I was like, dude, my burger's getting cold. Where's my food at? I
Yeah.
had to text my wife, bring my food.
Um,
Fucking, but yeah, what's it called? Sum 41. The subject of Sum 41 came up because
oh
Sum
yeah.
41's releasing a death metal album, and I
What?
had to talk about it. Yeah, and they're releasing a two-side album called one side is called Heaven, and it's Heaven and Hell, and the top side is Heaven, and that's gonna be punk rock, like pop punk, and the bottom side, Hell, is gonna be fucking death metal.
Well, yeah.
And I was
Also,
like, as soon as I mentioned Sum 41, the viewers I just seen going down. I was dying.
yeah, dude, that was like we got on talking about some shit. Uh, but dude, you know what? That's also because people don't actually like people who hate on that stuff probably didn't actually really listen to them. Obviously, because they probably heard the singles. But Sum 41, you know, their favorite bands were like Iron Maiden and shit, and like they had songs on and Metallica. They have their songs on like that Chuck record, like the Bitter End. It literally sounds like Battery by Metallica, but like
Yes.
it's a Sum 41 song. And you wouldn't know that if you just assumed that they suck because you don't like, which is fine. You know, people can like whatever the fuck they want to like. I just happen to like literally everything. I mean, I literally listen to. I just love music like so much. It's an obsession as fuck. You know I still like Sum 41. I still enjoy that shit. You know, that's funny that they would do a death metal record because they've written music that is kind of metallic. I would imagine that their heart's in the right place and that it's gonna be interesting to listen to. But it sounds corny. The Heaven and Hell thing sounds kind of corny, and but it reminds me of like the Foo Fighters. They just put out that death metal shit. Did you hear that?
Dude.
That was like actually sick.
There
Like I fucking we
you
were
see the
driving
movie?
around. Yeah, they did the movie. I didn't see the movie.
Great. It's fucking hilarious.
Hell
And
yeah,
filthy, bloody, gory, like one of the
fuck yeah,
nastiest films I've seen. And I was like, the Foo Fighters? It was
dude. Well,
awesome.
first of all, rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. That was
Mm-hmm.
fucked up. But yeah, we were driving to Detroit, I think, Mutilation Barbecue. I was with Dylan, our bass player, and he put on that song. I hadn't heard it yet. I hadn't heard like I knew that they put out a song that sounded like a death metal song, and I hadn't heard it. And he put it on, and I was like, dude, what band is this? Like, this is sick. He was like, this is the Foo Fighters, dude. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, I was like, this is like actually very cool. I mean, it makes sense because Dave Grohl's played with like everyone, and he just has like I feel like he has all of these like genres in the like just kind of in his back pocket that he could just kind of like fuck with, but he just never
Mm-hmm.
really did. And yeah, I thought that that was actually like really really fucking cool. I guess like no big surprise. Dave Grohl made cool music. That's kind of just what he does. But
Yeah.
um, I mean, I don't know how you feel about like Foo Fighters.
Oh, you know
Uh,
what's funny? I fucked tough with the Foo Fighters, but I was shocked because I never hear the subject ever come up in the metal conversation. You know, like whenever I talk to anybody or like Warf Lurch Wednesday, I never hear anybody say shit about Foo Fighters. Like it's their new movie. No one brought any of that shit up. But then he dies, and fucking everybody's like rest in peace, throwing shit up left and
yeah,
right on Instagram, and I was like, oh, so everyone's a Foo Fighters fan,
yeah.
apparently, you know?
But yeah, dude, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, it's funny. Well, plus like that dude's a sick drummer, Taylor Hawkins, and
He really was. He was fucking.
he just before he was in Foo Fighters, he was actually the drummer for Alanis Morissette, and then he joined the Foo Fighters. He did a record with Coheed and Cambria too. Speaking of like emo shit, um,
Uh,
he did their fourth record, I think. I mean, I'm not saying you have to like Coheed. I'm not, but I'm just saying he's just like that dude's like been all over the place. And it was definitely sad seeing him pass away and hearing about it. I still don't know if they like released like how he died or not
oh,
that I
he
really.
had a cocktail of fucking drugs in him, apparently.
Oh, really? That was yeah. I mean, dude, he was. They were in what? They were in like Brazil or something on
And they
tour.
were like, I think they were like Cambodia. They were like in some place where like
Yeah,
you go outside like to the beach and like the beach is made of cocaine. Like that's where they were, you know.
yeah, yeah. So I guess like when you're there, you got to do the cocktails, I guess.
Yeah, that dude had like he had more shit in him than Little Peep did.
Are you serious?
No,
I didn't know,
I don't
dude.
know. I'm just
Uh,
that's fucked up. Too soon, man. I shouldn't be saying shit like that.
um, no, I
Fuck.
mean, well, that's like John Entwistle from the Who. Like he died of like a drug overdose like later on in his life. He was like in a hotel. Um,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Nowadays with that fentanyl shit, it's no joke, man. Like motherfuckers are going left and right. Like
Yeah,
I've known artists, like it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. Like, you know, when I was in the hip hop scene, I got out of it probably when I was like 20, 26, 20, 25, 26. That's when I was like, yo, I'm not going anywhere with this shit. I didn't. I'm a fucking idiot. I wish I would have gotten into like I wish I would have had this whole death metal community type shit before I fucking even tried to professionally make some kind of music. Cause like I didn't understand there was a professional side to doing shit.
right.
Like you have to be professional. I was like mentally thinking like I'm never gonna sell out, you know, fuck all this like shit. And now I realize I'm like, oh, this is how the fucking business works. You have to play
Yeah.
by the rules to have any kind of success. And I tapped out at like 26 and 25, 26, and there were these artists that were coming up that were like, you know, 21, 20 at the shows hitting powder, doing all the shit that I did, you know, when I was like that age. And it was funny because like my shtick, I was literally the craziest right before I tapped out, and like my whole thing was like I sell more cocaine than you weigh. I was like a white DMX, but before XXX Temptation came out, like
Oh
and
shit.
yeah, and before Zillakami, all this shit that all these motherfuckers are doing right now.
Yeah.
I was the first person to scream fucking in I was the first person to scream and it not be corny like with hip hop. Like my shit was crazy. I remember I was doing shows in like Oakland, Chico, all over the place. And
Oh
I
shit.
literally thought a record deal was just gonna fall in my lap. I thought like the
Yeah.
executives were gonna call me up and I'd be rapping in front of a bunch of white people like Bobby Shmurda in that video, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that shit never
Yeah.
happened, you know. But
I think a lot of it too is like it's just like knowing people, and like that's so huge, especially with like hip hop and stuff, and like uh, because there's a lot of good stuff that doesn't get huge. Dude, it's funny you mentioned Zillakami. Like, I honestly listen to like City Morgue and that shit. Like, I actually do like enjoy that stuff. I think Harrison was making fun of me because I had Zillakami on in the car because he definitely is. There's some of the beats are kind of corny or whatever, like with the riffs, but like I don't know. I like the fact that there's like young hip hop artists who clearly really dig music that I grew up fucking loving, like new metal and shit and Nirvana and stuff, and like they want to throw that in there. Like I just think that's like the coolest fucking thing. Like it like it, I don't know. A lot of hip hop beats too now. Like like guitars have made such a presence now in like so many it's like beats and shit. You know, like uh, where is it like I don't know. It's cool. You know. Do you live in California?
Oh, dude, I'm in the Bay Area, man. I'm
Hell
like
yeah.
right by
Okay. That's
Oakland.
crazy, dude. Yeah, and it's like you would think like, oh, I'm here, like I'm playing shows, like it's just gonna happen, you know.
It sucked, man. It was like,
I mean, that is it does happen that way for a lot of people. So it's not like you were like so, you know, I probably would have done the same thing, you know, and thought the same thing.
well,
It's
what
just
got
like,
the fucked up part is like out here, the way that the scene is. Like it was funny because I was like, fuck, I wish I was in Atlanta during that time because that was like when Migos were popping off. Gucci was, I think Gucci had like, no, he was locked up at that time, but like there was all like that whole Atlanta like coming into its own. 21
yeah,
Savage, all these artists like
fuck
came
yeah,
to their own, and I remember like I was sitting there in fucking I was sitting over here like doing these shows. Everybody's like, "Yo, we want you." Like there was like this hardcore punk band that was pretty big out here called War Vikaza. They called me up and were like, "Yo, fucking we want you to like, do your two songs right before our set. Just like come in there and just mix it up." Like I was getting calls like that. So I was like, "Oh shit, like I have some sort of clout. Like people fucking know who I
right,
am." And then I remember like I met hella kids would always come up to me after these shows. Yo, I never heard anybody doing some shit like that. That's so sick. And I'm like, right on, like, add me on the socials. So I'm linking up with all these kids. And then I didn't put anything out. I didn't do a show for like 1 year. And, I was just focused on working, getting my shit together. I was getting older, and I was like,
yeah,
man, this isn't sustainable. And I was like, all right, I'm putting it out because I said Crack God, my project Crack God was supposed to come out that Christmas. My fucking project never. The producer I was fucking with, it was a setback after setback. Producer I was fucking with was like, nah, I'm not working with you no more. He gave up music altogether. He got reposted by XXX Temptation and fucking never fucking. He was like, I'm out. He said this is all fake. I
what?
don't want to do this shit anymore. And I was like, fuck.
Damn,
So
dude.
yeah, he stopped producing for me. I had to like learn FL Studio myself after about a year of figuring out all this shit, how to mix my own vocals and how to do that. Because I went from just going to a dude's house, recording, and then someone putting
Right.
together everything to, all right, now I
Did
got to
you
buy a
actually?
laptop.
Did you track the vocals in FL?
Yeah, I do everything. I still
Yeah,
do. But Incantation, that was all FL Studio.
dude, FL is like sick as fuck, but yeah, it's like you. I have like the full license for that shit, and it is not. It's not. I mean, it's kind of intuitive, but also like there's an art to it for sure. And like
Yeah.
using it as a main DAW, like especially like starting from scratch, and you don't realize like that hip hop shit, like how masterfully mixed a lot of it is, and like to get the low end really kicking the way it's supposed to, and like there's like a major art to all that. So
Oh,
um,
yeah. Yeah, fucking my vocal chains, bro, like the one that I
yeah,
just
dude,
used on this one,
yeah,
I had like 9 fucking effects running on the bud
yeah,
incantation. Like that shit was all like I
right,
have 2 equalizers on my shit, doing certain things. I got fucking
yeah,
a
yeah, and it's
limiter
like yeah.
like
That yeah, dude, all that shit, like you don't even think about that, and then you get into making that stuff, and you're like, damn, and then like you're like, oh, how does like fucking Drake's voice sound like that? It's like, oh, like, and then everyone has like their different take on like the chain that he uses, and like they're like, no, he actually does this like extra equalizer right here, and it's like, no, he's got this extra, and it's just like, everyone's trying to like it's there's a major science to it.
yeah,
Um,
it's funny you say Drake because some people say that Drake uses a little bit of a fruity blood overdrive, a
Yeah, that's
little
what. Yeah,
overdrive in
exactly.
his voice, a tiny
Right,
bit.
right. That's what they say, and they say, and like
Yeah,
that's how he gets that little like distorted like edge on his, But like no one's ever gonna know specifically like what he does, or like I mean, obviously like then there's like Travis Scott, dude's like got that signature sound in his voice, and everyone's like always trying to recreate it. There's like YouTube videos of like how to do that shit, and yeah, dude, I fuck with all that stuff. Like I really like even just like mainstream hip hop. You mentioned 21 Savage. Like I fucking love 21 Savage.
Oh, he
That
was
Metro Boom,
crazy when he came out,
that
dude.
Metro Boomin record he just did with Savage Mode 2. That
Yeah,
one is like fucking with Morgan Freeman all over it.
my
We were talking
wife,
about that.
she heard you talking about it the other day,
Dude,
and
on War Flirts, yeah.
she put it on when we were driving. She was like, I just put on that 21 Savage that guy was talking about the other day, and she's like, you got to listen to this fucking sample. And she like put on the rat sample where he's talking about the
Dude,
difference
yeah.
between a snitch and a rat.
Yeah, and it's Morgan Freeman.
We were
And he's like
rolling.
us. Yeah. And you're listening to it and you're like, I can't believe they like got him to say these things. Because I the first time I heard that record, I was like, oh, well, they probably have a friend who knows how to do a Morgan Freeman voice. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah,
looked it
that's
up and I was
really
like,
him.
no. He was like, he just like sent him this shit and he recorded it on his iPhone and he's like probably made like stupid money doing it. He's you know, Morgan Freeman's the shit. So he did it. And then like that song's sick too. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I like that stuff.
it was a return to form because 21. And you know what though? I'll tell you this about 21 Savage. I my favorite tape that he did was the first one that they did, Savage Mode, the first one that they did.
Mm-hmm.
That was like peak 21 Savage. He released the full length, which I understood. He matured. He was open about it. He matured as an artist. He's like, look, like if you listen to his shit before that, like the Slaughter tape, and I think the Slaughter tape is the one where it's just hella funny because he has a song called Pimp, and he's just talking about robbing people,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's like, they asked him how he recorded his initial tape, and he said, oh yeah, me and my friends, we knew these people that recorded, so we stole all their shit. And then he's like, we recorded the first tape and we didn't like how it sounded, so we went and robbed some other dude for some better shit. It's like, fuck. And his boys are like figuring this shit out, like that
Yeah.
they're stealing. Like it's kind of comical, but it's like he really was about trying to get this music out,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
can't
It's
knock
sick.
that.
I like listening to his interviews for that reason. Like he really like I don't know. I feel like he could write a book, you know.
Yeah. Oh, his life story. When they're gonna make a biopic about that motherfucker because he got
Yeah.
famous and then he's like, what is he doing? He's like buying all these crazy ass like swords from Japan and like fucking
Yeah.
learning how to fly a plane. Like this motherfucker is like he's literally
That
like
is sick.
flying. I'm doing all the shit I always wanted to do. And then he's got hella
Yeah.
kids. Like somebody was like, yeah, he's got his kids now and he goes into the studio and like brings all of his children with them or with him when he
Yeah.
goes in like
If you yeah, actually so on his record, I think the record's called I Am Greater Than I Was. The first track is called A Lot and it has J. Cole on it. And when J. Cole comes in and does his sample, the first thing he says is like, I love coming in to work with 21 Savage. He's got his kids in the studio. I like to see that shit. And he
yeah.
like literally calls that out like on the track. Um, that's a sick song too. The sample on that beat is like really cool. Um,
Yeah, man, he was sick. Lil Uzi, that year of freshmen's were just. I remember that freshman. I used to always think I'd be on that list every year, and I fucking
yeah.
never
Well,
got
that
enough
was. I
clout.
mean, that was what that was like. Lil Uzi Vert.
Little
Um,
Yachty.
yeah. Was X on that?
Uh,
XXX.
I think so. I think he might have
Yeah,
been
I'm
the
pretty sure
next
he was
year.
on the
Was he
same
that year?
shit.
He
I
was
think
that
he was
year.
the same. I think he was on the same shit that Lil Uzi was on. Pretty
That's
sure.
right, because Ski Mask was next year. I think. I think they put.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
him. Little Pump wasn't there yet. I think Little Pump
Oh
came
my god,
later.
dude! I forgot about Lil Pump. Holy
Oh,
shit.
you remember when Trump called him Little Pimp in Florida? You see
Yeah. He's
that?
like he's like little pimp. He's like great. I can't. That's not a. That doesn't sound like Donald Trump. But yeah, he called him little pimp. Uh, that was so funny. Dude.
Like
Lil
Little
Pump
Pump,
just like
if you were to take a lineup of like all like the rappers and just take a look at them and think like who is least likely to pay taxes like from any of their earnings, you just got to look at Little Pump and you're like,
yeah.
yeah, this fucking guy, very close with 6ix9ine. Like if
Oh
they
yeah,
were
for
both
sure. Yeah.
there, like
Yeah, like they're watching Lil Pump what he's doing. Like he's not getting his itemized deductions
Yeah, I think
correct.
J. Cole even said that too. He said it like 5 years ago or some shit that he ain't gonna. He as soon as those taxes are due, he's gonna fall off and fucking.
Yeah.
That shit
Dude,
came
that's like
true.
literally, yeah. Dude, it was so funny too. I remember when Lil Pump was like really popping off. Like, I think I followed him on Instagram at the time because it was like I just like had to. Like, it was just so funny. And he he like posted one day like that he had like bought a Lamborghini, like this like yellow. It was a Porsche. I don't know what the fuck it was. And he might not have even bought it. He might have just like rented it for a video or something because you never know with like social media and shit like how they're like you know how these people are. And um, he he like the next post was like he just like crashed the fucking thing. Like literally like a 30 minutes later, it was like a new post where the thing was just like totaled. But he was just like having a good time. He was like, oh shit, like I fucking like and I think he also said that like he didn't have his license like in the like he's like, I probably shouldn't have driven this fucking without my license. Like whoops, like I just totaled this guy. I was like, this dude is fucking hilarious. Like it's so funny.
Yeah, he was from a different time, man. That was a different era of fucking.
Yeah, it really
You
was.
know,
It's so weird now because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but that was like that was like years
5 years
ago.
ago.
Yeah, and he did
Yeah.
that track with Kanye, and
Oh
that
my
was like,
god.
oh, it was like okay, well now he's gonna be like really famous, and then like I think he kind of just like fizzled out or something,
I
or
feel
I
like
don't know.
Kanye was too late to the. I think Kanye was trying to do some shit to like be super,
Yeah,
bring himself back to relevance before releasing another album, and then like, because Kanye
yeah,
is always relevant. He's insanely rich. He's brilliant as fuck. He broke into high fashion. As a black man, that is something that you know it's he's absolutely remarkable human being for doing that shit.
yeah,
Uh, Crazy, stupid takes a lot. Yeah, whatever. Everybody, that's Kanye.
yeah.
That's what he's known for. Doing weird
I
shit.
think yeah, he said it really. I think it when he said like I don't know where he said it. It was like in a documentary or something. He said like he's probably said it a bunch of times that like people want to have like this artistic genius to look up to, but then when that person like acts out and has like all of these like flaws and we like somehow that's like surprising to people, but like you can't really think the way Kanye West thinks without being this kind of like it just kind of goes hand in hand. Like you're either going to be this like artistic genius who also is like very atypical and quirky and like you're gonna get probably clowned on a lot by like supposedly like normal people like or you're gonna be a normal person who doesn't act out and do dumb shit but like you're not Kanye West. So um yeah, I really like Kanye West. His album Graduation is like always in my car.
Has he released a good album since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? Debatable. Some people say
i
Yeezus was good.
I really like stuff on Pablo, to be honest.
Really? I did it. It was too artsy for me. Like,
See, I just love artsy shit. So like I know what you mean though. Like especially with like stuff like that, like when it gets a little bit too it starts to feel kind of pretentious. I mean, even like when I saw like the album cover, it's like what like it looks like it was made in like MS Paint or some shit. But you're like, what the fuck? Like and like who's like what like so I hear you.
I remember he said a couple dope lines on there. I think like the part where he talks about putting a GoPro on his shit. Like he said like a couple
Yeah.
lines that really stick out. But that's what made Kanye's music for me is that his songs had real deep meaning and
Right.
like there are those lines that you just can't fucking get out of your head. Like
Right.
you
Yeah.
look at Graduation. That album is back to back to back. And it was just weird. Like prior to that, late registration, fucking like he had a song where he had like Paul Wall on there, and he's saying some deep ass shit, and then
Yeah.
Paul Wall jumps on just being Paul Wall. And it's
Right.
like it's totally a product of its time, but he gave that representation for Texas like on a
Yeah.
massive scale. So it's like and he knew that's exactly what he was doing. So
Right.
I commend Kanye, man, for his body of work. He can, at this point, he can do whatever the fuck he wants to do, but just know I ain't listening. But my opinion don't matter. I'm just sponsored by Night Shift merchandise.
Yeah,
Don't
I mean,
crush Night Shift merchandise, Kanye. I'm sorry. Fuck.
no, that's what I'm saying. Is like these, you know, it doesn't really even matter like what we think about a Kanye West or what he's doing, or you know, he's made he's made enough classic records to where like who gives a shit, dude? Like, yeah, I always thought that his lyrics were like really, really good. Like like I mean, that's what a stupid thing to say. Most lukewarm take on Kanye West. I think his lyrics are really good, but no, like, no, but like I don't know. People make fun of him, you know, and like people who don't listen to him will say that like they'll be like, "Oh, that dude like is nothing special, whatever." But when you listen to him,
No.
you're like he's especially clever with like shit that he says, you know, like obviously my beautiful dark twisted fantasy, that whole record is um that's like one of those albums where like, you know, I'm sure in like it'll be like a hip hop like Dark Side of the Moon type of thing, you know, where people will be like talking about it years later. Graduation too though, like I feel like Graduation's the first one where it's like he's really becoming like Kanye West on that record, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like
dude. The
you're like,
Daft Punk
whoa.
fucking feature, like what the
Yeah,
fuck?
dude.
Like
Yeah, and
he
that it's the first,
elevated.
yeah, yeah. And that was crazy too, because then Daft Punk was like, I mean, they had been a thing, right? Because that song that he sampled for Stronger, that had been around since like the 90s. But then all of a sudden it was like Daft Punk was like fucking huge. And like, I don't know if maybe I'm just like ignorant to like the trajectory of Daft Punk, but it definitely felt like they became way more relevant because Kanye West had turned people onto them. And then like they were like that band was crazy too until they eventually broke up.
Yeah, they went from like what did they do? They went, and you know, no, Daft. You're right though. I think that he brought them back to relevance because they went from being the fucking what was it? I can't think of something from like the '90s, like tech wise. I want to say they went from being the fucking the iPhones were just coming out, so they went Daft Punk initially was like the band or the group that was like on the commercials for like the first flip phones that came out,
Yeah,
and then
right,
everybody
right.
forgot about them, and then for the
Exactly.
Motorola Razor, and then Kanye fucking dropped that shit, and Daft Punk became the iPhone commercial fucking music, you
Yeah.
know.
He got
and
them back in there.
and their record, I forgot what the fuck it's called, but their biggest one that has all that shit on it, like from the '90s, they're still living in their moment, and this is a good indicator of when a band or anybody is still living in the shadow of that moment, is when you're seeing repressings every fucking like 5 years and they're not
Yeah.
being bought out. You know what I mean?
That's not yeah, that's not is that random access memories? Is
Yeah,
that one?
that is. Yep.
Okay, yeah. I didn't realize that I'm gonna look that up right now. I didn't realize that it um that that's the one.
Is that the big one? I'm just
That's the record that like I always, you know, everyone talks about. But
yeah, I see
no,
it.
so the one with the one with the original shit on it, I think is Homework. I think it is. I don't know. Maybe Discovery. I don't know, dude. I don't know Daft Punk. If there's any Daft Punk nerds watching this, they're gonna be like, "What are you fucking talking about?" I only know Random Access Memories is like that came out in 2013 though. That was their last record.
Oh, so
So
that, never mind.
there's
They're
no
not.
way.
Yeah, maybe they just were on an upwards trajectory from
Yeah, I think they were, but no, I think you're right though because they repressed this shit, the first one. Like, what is it? Is it this song? Oh, you know, I'm not gonna play any shit. You'll get
oh
copyrighted
yeah,
on
dude.
YouTube if I.
I got copywritten one time. I was talking to Tim from Hormigaunt, and he told me to play Sperm Swamp on here, and I never heard Sperm Swamp before. And I was like, all right, I'll play it, man. I'll check it out. It sounds funny. And we played literally a song that was just like all farts and fucking polka music. And then like I was like, do you think I'll get copyright strike or whatever? He's like, nah, man, it's Sperm Swamp, mate. And fucking We got fucking struck. I was like, what the fuck? The next day,
Dude, that's some. How do they find that? Like
it
that's like some algorithm picked you up.
it found the farts and the fucking like it's fart music, bro. Like it was so
Well, yeah.
funny.
What they do is they find the it finds the like the exact like sound wave. So whether it's farts or anything else, like it just knows the wave. That's actually on the Pale Gaze EP. The sample before one of the songs. I can't even remember which one it is, but like I like purposely changed the pitch of that and shit, and like slowed it down slightly and shit, so that like you know what I mean. It's like manipulated so that like it can go on Spotify and no one's gonna know. Like nothing's gonna pick it up because it's like slightly altered.
Now they're gonna know.
Yeah, everyone's gonna know. You know, well, you don't know where it's from, so fuck you.
The FCC is gonna be
Literally,
investigating your ass now. Where is this from?
Come at me, please.
Oh,
That would be
God.
so funny. I'd be honestly so into that. I made like phone calls as soon as I get off of this.
Yeah, I
Where
got
did you get
copyright
that
strike for plasmodulated on playing that shit, and I was like, "Damn, Mike's on top of his shit, man!" Like,
Really?
yeah.
What? That's crazy, dude.
It said you played
What?
Gross Cave, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I think that I think that depending on certain distro sites that you use, it'll like take care of that for you.
Yeah,
So it might be like the distribution that he's using, like you pay like a monthly fee and then like they like do shit for you. Like you know, so I bet it was like I bet that's what it was. That's pretty funny.
I think I'm gonna reach out to because we're talking about putting we're in talks about the future of Bud Incantation and like if we're gonna put it on streaming services. There's
Okay.
a lot of negotiating going on, but what I think I might do is reach out to Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder because I know he'll get a kick out of it. So if I can, all I have to do is get Trevor to listen to it one time,
Yeah.
and I know it's going to go on Metal Injection, especially after the whole Taylor Swift debacle and Blood
Dude.
Incantation getting mad at Metal Injection.
Yeah.
It only makes sense, right? Like I don't know why Mike didn't want to like make it too big of a thing, I guess. He was like, but it has insane potential cuz he told me he was like, "Yo, that shit got more likes than any other post on the Warflurch page like the day we put it up." And I was like, for real, like, you know, those motherfuckers, Phil has to have heard it. You know what I mean? Like they
That's what
have
I'm
to.
saying. Like I asked Mike actually. I was like, do you know if they heard that? Like they probably like I don't know. I feel like if I were them, I would have found. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
because they're not like out of touch with like shit. You know what I mean? I feel like they would see it and probably get a kick out of it. Honestly, like I don't know. I like who you know. It's maybe not. Maybe they would fucking be
Yeah.
pissed.
They
But
got mad at
um,
Gate Creeper for being Gate Creeper. They're
I mean,
thinking,
yeah, they. But then they were like they walked it back. Like I don't know. I don't know Gate Creeper and I don't know Blood Incantation, so I won't speak on it.
well, they said they were
Um,
taken out of context, and then Metal Injection said right away, "We have a recording of every interview
yeah,
we do." Like,
they're like.
yo.
I mean, dude, like, yeah, maybe they just were talking shit. I mean, it is weird to think that they would so openly actually diss a bigger band that they're supposedly friends with, and then like not expect it to like wind up in the interview. You know,
Yeah.
I think everyone's like probably put their foot in their mouth. I mean, I've put my foot in my mouth a bajillion times. You know,
Yeah.
so I can imagine like the anxiety that probably followed. They're like they see all these articles and they're like fuck, like you know, like walk this back, like those dudes are cool. Like why do we say that shit about them? Like you know,
It ain't at the end of the day, like Blood Incantation, it ain't gonna stop me from listening to the new Blood
oh
Incantation
no, dude,
when it
the
comes
fucking.
out.
I mean, I don't really listen to Time Wave Zero because it's just like it's. I'm just not.
The
I'm
way
not.
you said
I don't
that,
hate on it.
the way
What?
the way you said that was like it's doing a drug or something. Like I don't really
Yeah, I
listen
don't
to
really
Time Wave
listen to
Zero.
Time Wave Zero. I mean, you know, I tried it once, and it was kind of not for me. So um, no, but like Hidden History, like I listen to that
Great
all the time.
project. Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
That
I
brought me
also like
back.
even dude, Star Spawn is sick. I
Oh
mean
yeah.
all the records are sick. I have the shirt of the interplanetary whatever it is. It's like an asteroid belt and it has like the skulls. They had that record. You know what's funny too, actually? So I don't know if they commissioned that art themselves, the meteor belt of the skulls, but um, when I was getting into like FL Studio like a couple of years ago, I was trying to like make beats and shit, and you know, people will sell like their loop kits. You know, probably, you know, I don't need to tell you, but and like I literally saw someone like from like it's so funny. Do you know Internet Money? You
Yeah.
know that group? Yeah, one of those kids on Internet Money was selling a loop kit, and he used the fucking blood incantation meteor belt art on the loop kit he was selling, and I commented on it. I was like, "Yo, that's the blood incantation." Like, and like I think like I don't know, nothing came of it. I don't think it matters. Like they repurposed it. They made it look all like vapor wavy, you know, like it was like pink instead of being black or whatever. And but it was so funny because I was like, I don't know. I was like, I feel like they fucking know that they took that from blood incantation, but blood incantation's never gonna know, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
So let me show you something real quick. This fucking pissed me off really bad. Like I did a fucking project. So I used to fuck. So they used to call me White Django, and that was my name. And I made my own art. This is like a low res, but I'm not putting too much effort into finding this. I did this artwork, right? Self-titled project, and this fucking dude made a song called White Django, and literally just took my artwork, like took my fucking my self-titled EP. Let me show you this shit. What an asshole! Like the guy didn't even give a fuck. I even commented on his shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I made that. Like that was me.
what the fuck?
Yeah. Like
He
and
literally just stole it.
this dude stole this from me and made a single called White Django and fucking yeah, just straight up stole my art from me. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I was trying to go for some minimalist, like,
Yeah,
this was supposed to be the EP precursor to Crack God, the crazy ass
yeah.
album, and that one was cool. I had like a Ronald Reagan, like fucking, it was like Ronald Reagan's like funeral, but like fucking with all sorts of crazy ass colors. It was nuts, man. I think I still have it in like an email somewhere, but but yeah, man, like I was so pissed about that. Like, and I found out, and I was, what made me more mad though is that dude got more plays on that single than fucking my project got, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, he literally just stole my artwork, and
Yeah.
his song's not as good as mine, and he got more
Right.
plays.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hear you. And like, plus, like, literally just stole it, like, and didn't even like. Why not just like credit you?
Yeah. Well, he said he's white. Like he literally just Googled White Django, I bet, and
Yeah.
fucking oh, this is it right here. Someone already made it for me. Like, what a
Yeah.
fucking
Like, what,
asshole.
dude? It's so funny. Like, I can't even imagine like the thought process that goes behind searching that, finding that it was already made, and being like, oh, I'll just use the one that somebody else made. Like, I would never even think to do that. I'd be
It
like, this is
it's
clearly already done. Like,
it's literally the same thought process behind hidden history of the human race.
I guess, yeah, technically.
Like,
But they at least they repurposed it though. They didn't
I know,
literally,
I know.
you know what I mean? Like yeah, no, I hear you though. There's another metal record from way long ago that uses that same art. I can't remember the name of it.
I think I saw that. I was looking up the history of that shit. That's why I was laughing when we made the hidden history of that ass. I was like, yo, well, I was like, just take that art and put a butt on it and change the color, and we'll fucking say it was we took it from the original art. We didn't take it from
Yeah.
Blood Incantation. We took it from fucking that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking A,
Yo, I'm probably gonna tap out. Um, I gotta fucking get up and work.
absolutely, brother. Thank you so
But yeah,
much
this
for
was
making
sick.
it on, man. Uh,
Yeah, thank you. It's been cool like chilling with you. Like for real. We'll have to get on a war flirts at some point.
I know,
Um,
man. Fucking that. That's the go-to, man. I fucking
Yeah,
love that.
exactly. Yeah,
Every
yeah, for
Wednesday,
real.
I'm like
Yeah,
glued to my
yeah.
phone. My wife hates it.
I know, right? It's like be up till like 3 in the morning, fucking like talking shit. Um, but yeah, so I guess if anyone's watching and has made it this far, Pale Gaze, Butchered into Cosmic Hell, is out on Stump Grinder Records. Most of the tapes are gone. I should have some soon. I think Mike actually just messaged me telling me when they should be getting here, so I'll have some. I'll probably put them up for sale online as well as sell them at shows if there's room on the merch table at the Mutilation Barbecue gigs. So also Mutilation Barbecue, um, Abortion Ambulance just came out on Maggot Stomp. We have an LP in the works, so that'll be out. I don't know when, but hopefully sooner rather than later. And we got a tour coming up with Gordon Brace and Hanging Fortress and Gates to Hell in June. So if you live in the Midwest and you're around there, like come out to a show. And yeah, that's all I got.
Hell yeah. It's in the books, everybody. Another episode of Death Matches and Death Metal with fucking motherfucking Pale Gaze. I swear to God, this I'm grateful that you were able to make it on here, man. Everybody listen, the links are down underneath. Get it, support the band. Support. Go on Spotify and listen on there. That shit, a lot of people talk shit on Spotify on how they pay out, but that is a way to support the band. It's if you're gonna purchase
For
the
sure.
project, go on Bandcamp. Purchase the project. Follow on all the socials underneath as well. Dude, it's been an absolute fucking pleasure having you on, man. And death matches and death metal out,
Hell
out.
yeah.
Yeah. Let me
Peace.
see.